Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Graham McGowan. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Alan Slaughter-Zinski along here with me as well as we come to you from Haines City, Florida, the Feltram Sports Complex, as the National Prep and Youth Football Association and SUV TV brings you the Georgia versus Florida High School Showcase All-Star Game from just past Disney in Florida. Alan, it's going to be a great game. Players from both states. A lot of D1 offers where you're going to see some really good football to round out the 2019 high school football season and a great high school football decade.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Graham. It's great to be here today. I know we're going to have the national anthem coming up here shortly. But last year, this is a game the state of Georgia won. There's a lot of pride between these two teams, Graham. Florida, Georgia, the battle, the line. You look at those games last night, those college football playoff games last night, Graham. A lot of student athletes on that Clemson football team that toppled Ohio State.
And you look at that along with, LSU, all the way around, you've got kids from the Southeast that make their way into major college football. It really doesn't matter what part of the country you are in. The Southeast always has dominated in the way that they are able to produce football talent, and that has definitely been the same case here as it is today. And we'll start off with the Georgia side. They are in the red jerseys nearest to us as you see the captains at midfield with our officiating crew. And Alex Stack, the 6'6", 205-pound quarterback, one of the two young men we will see under center this afternoon for the state of Georgia.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He won the top quarterback at the Georgia-Florida Showcase Camp, earned the automatic invite here. Didn't have the type of a year this past season that he wanted from his team. His team was 0-10 this year, but this is a good quarterback with a lot of skill, Graham.
And Georgia will receive after the coin toss at midfield. They will kick towards the west end zone. Who does Stack have to work with? Well, a couple of good pieces out of the backfield in Jaquez Williams and Nathan Cox. Williams from Reedon High School, Cox from Miller Grove High School. Both men 5'8", 175. All region and top running backs in their respective areas of that state.
Yeah, Williams led DeKalb County in rushing with 1,470 yards this year. Again, you said all region. Holds offers right now from Reinert Shorter and Clark Atlanta. And you just look at the Savion McCrary out of Roswell High School, 519 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. So they've got some options back there for the coaches this year, and we're going to give you the coaches for Georgia. The head coach is Ori Farrell, the defensive coordinator Ori Farrell Jr., and your offensive coach is Jazzy Cord on the Florida side. We'll get the Florida coaches here for you in just a second.
And as we move on, Montravius George, one of the big receivers, offers from Albany State, University of Cumberland, Shorter, and then, of course, you have DeQuandre Moore. He was the overall MVP at the Georgia versus Florida Showcase Camp. So a bunch of young men here ready to go ahead and do battle. We will bring you along to the Florida side here on the offensive side of the ball here in just a moment. And as we get ready for the kickoff.
Your head coach for Florida is Donnell Davis. So I just wanted to make sure we gave Coach Davis his due before we kicked off here.
So as we are teed up, ready for the kick. Adric Bailey will tee it up, kick it off. Big end-over-end kick at the 25. Slips on the turf. Cuts back, hit hard, and dropped across the 40-yard line. Return by Savion McCray, the 6-footer. And Georgia will start off this football game. We'll see they mark him just past the 30-yard line at the 31 for the first drive of this football game.
Sugar huddle, Graham. No huddle, right to the line of scrimmage. Scripted, obviously. They know what they want to run. They're going to come out. Probably in a game like this, you're looking at maybe the first 5, 6, 7, 8 plays scripted.
Absolutely. And this is one of those things where you have kids from so many different areas. You aren't expecting, and in talking to the coaches and everybody that puts on this showcase, they're only getting less than probably 5 total practices, so your playbook isn't going to be large. It's how well can you execute the plays you had the most time to really work with.
Don't have the actual starters, but as I look across the defensive backfield, the 2 deep safeties for Team Florida are number 28, that's Colvin Clayton, the defensive back, and number 14 is Kermani Hunter.
And they are standing over top of the ball, waiting to Looks like we don't have a box. We have our main chain crew, but no box yet. So while we take a moment, go ahead and lead you through the Georgia defense, and that is helmed by the big man, the D lineman in Kanan Clark. Kanan Clark, multiple Division I football offers. He is going to be a powerhouse on that front line for Georgia and a powerhouse on Saturdays for a lot more years to come.
Yeah, of course, we just had the early signing period, Graham. 45 tackles, 5 quarterback hurries, 4 tackles for loss. Played for Forsyth Central, as you said, 6'6", 300 pounds, 5-5. Forsyth Central was this past season. Early signing day just passed, of course. The February national signing day coming up first Wednesday in February.
And his second-level compatriot in Derek Singal is going to be one of those gentlemen who may be coming back to Florida. He has an offer from Dan Mullen and those Florida Gators.
Yeah, 154 tackles for him, 2.5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss, and we're ready to go, Graham.
First down and 10 for Georgia.
Stack claps the hands. Bad snap off to his right side. He is swarmed and thrown to the ground by the Florida defense, number 97, Chris Bryant, in on the tackle with George Hawkins III. And nowhere to go early on in this ball game as Georgia's offense comes off slow to the start.
Right back to the line of scrimmage. Bryant out of William Dwyer High School, 6'4", 220 pounds.
Stack the handoff on the right side.
Ooh.
Ball came loose. He was still on top of the pile, and somehow Nasir Warner able to reach out. I'm sorry, that was Jaquez Williams able to reach out and secure that football just off the end of his fingertips. So third down, and it's like they will mark him still just shy of the original line of scrimmage. Third down and 11, ball at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it has rained, spit, if you will, spritz, spit, whatever, on and off all morning here. So the ball and the ground might be a little damp.
Three-step drop. The lefty looks downfield, has a man in the middle of the field, and it is tipped away by the defense. And number 6, Joseph Bonga, the 5'10 defensive back, gets his right hand up and knocks that ball away. And a 3-and-out drive for Georgia. And Florida looks to be getting ready for their first offensive possession of this ball game.
Good play by the Alonzo High School senior, 5'10", 165 pounds, all-county, all-district DBA. You know what the most impressive thing about him is? A 3.8 grade point average.
Now, there is some rule wrinkles in this ball game. No rushes allowed on punts or field goals. No blitzes are allowed until the fourth quarter. So you will see that, and then as soon as the ball's kicked, everything goes back to being live as that kick very high and then bounds back all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. So in the end, the punt nets you 2 yards, and Florida will start at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, of course, we don't have kickers in this game, so to speak. So the kicking games for each team may lack what we call skill today.
Efficiency
and skill. But you know what? We're in this for the defense and the offense.
And there's going to be plenty of that as Florida gets ready to come out for their first offensive possession. And quarterback Marion Moreland will go under center as Tequan Chapman, the 160-pound, 5'8" running back, will flank on his right hip.
You look at Moreland out of Glade Central. I had an opportunity this year.
We saw them against Cocoa,
actually,
at Glade Central, and they're going to actually run Andy Caverly first. Caverly hands off on the left side, room to run, cutting back in. What a hit at the 25-yard line, and Highland Jennerlet, the 6'1" D lineman, and all 205 pounds, light him up.
No doubt about it. Here you take a look on your screen right here. As soon as he turns the corner, looks like he's got room. No! Jennerlet out of Jenkins, 6'1", as you said, 205's got an offer from Culver Stockton, lays him out, Graham.
And a great play to get off the block, lay a shoulder to him, completely clean hit, but absolute power. One of those hits that if you are Chapman makes you think twice about heading his way again. Handoff, cut back on the left side again. And a tackle for loss as a helmet comes off. Good tackle for loss by number 9. That's Kai Felder, the defensive back that we mentioned at the onset of the ball game.
Felder, of course, with offers from Georgia Tech, Louisiana, Buffalo, Kent State, Southern. Good play there. Way to wrap up. That's technique tackling there.
And Georgia Tech, obviously one of the bigger names that you see there, a team that has struggled in the ACC, kind of sputtered their wheels. Be a nice grab for him to stay in the state. Nice pickup for the Yellow Jackets if they do end up being able to bring Kai Felder into that ball club. 3rd down and 5, a hard count. And jumping well across the neutral zone is number 58. And that's Jalen Miller, the 270-pound defensive lineman. And that looks like it'll be enough for a first down. They might mark him just shy, and no, we get the signal. It is a first down. The chains will move. The clock will run. The first down of this ball game goes for Florida.
And they are inside or getting close to the red zone area, Graham.
Under center is the quarterback, something you don't see very often in high school football. And I'm not sure. I was surprised to see almost a sneak.
Like a quarterback sneak there.
Yeah, as though maybe they thought they were still shy of that first down. I'm not sure if they weren't aware.
Take a look at the replay here. Yeah, I mean, it was a straight quarterback sneak, it looked like. Unless he was uncomfortable with what we maybe can't see, maybe the ball started to slip out of his hands and he just assumed to take it and not turn it over.
Very true. Andy Cavalier, the 5'10" quarterback, 180 pounds. And once again, this time he's flanked by Lee J. Johnson. Receiver blocking for him. Pass intended incomplete for Lenadrick Bailey, the 6-foot wide receiver. And the clock will stop at 3rd down and 8 for Florida.
Well, Bailey was open, and the ball was just thrown behind him. If he hits him in stride, he may be still running.
Yes, as we look at the replay here, if he could have gotten him. Now, you had good pressure on the zone defense, and that was Isaiah Thomas, number 36.
Of course, there were 2 wide receivers in the area there.
Shotgun set. Quick drop.
Ooh.
And there was a big miscommunication there. Bryson Mullins engaged the defender as a blocker, never turned around for that football. As we get another look at the replay here. Yeah, and you see, I mean, Mullins stopped his route but never turned around to pick up that football. 4th down now and 8.
Danny Cheely over there, the ball went right between his hands. That's why defensive backs are defensive backs.
I mean, you talk about it, they say they're the wide receivers of the defense, and a lot of times they feel that they're the smartest and most underused
there it is.
Piece on the defense. That pass caught at the 10-yard line. Good enough for a first down, 1st and goal for Florida. Pass caught by number 8, Lenadrick Bailey.
Now, I don't know if you mentioned this, but you cannot blitz until the 4th quarter, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Right, so there's no pressure being applied to the quarterback. What you saw there was a simple route across the middle. A wide receiver laid down in the middle of the zone, and it was a good pitch and catch.
A little surprised they went with the zone there. I mean, I get dropping 1 back, but I wouldn't mind saying maybe a little more press man-to-man. Really try and get those guys off of their route a little bit.
Especially if you can't blitz.
Try and force Cavalry into something. They're going to go I formation here, heavy. Head down run, straight up the middle. That looked like it was a number 2, Alfonso Damond.
Yep.
Which I have him listed as a defensive lineman.
There are a lot.
So using him in multiple areas of this ball game.
He had 4 rushing touchdowns this past year.
Which basically, if you're a D lineman in high school and you're rushing the ball, you're working as pretty much the fullback, which, I mean, again, works out for this game and for this ball club. And once again, they're going to go the exact same formation, I formation. Ernest Black, you have a 200-pound running back working as basically the fullback in the end of the backfield. 5-step drop, still looking, moving to his left, nowhere to go. Now he's going to pull it down, throws across his body, incomplete into triple coverage. Not the best throwing option for Caverly there. And as we should be able to get a replay pulled up here, I'm a bit surprised. He had some open room. Really could have taken off. You had one guy to beat, especially with the pump fake in the air.
Yeah.
You get him in the air, you take off, you have at least 5 yards there unimpeded. Little bit surprised.
And number 61, the offensive lineman, you might say to yourself, well, why is he just standing there? Well, he's really in no man's land because if he goes to block for his quarterback and his quarterback throws the ball, he's downfield.
Exactly. So now 3rd down and goal. Ball at the 9-yard line. Handoff to Blackshear. Bounces off one tackle. Wrapped up and brought down shy of the 5-yard line. Big wrap-up tackle by Elijah Deckel, the 6', 200-pound linebacker of Georgia. And once again, second time on this drive, Florida faced with a 4th down conversion attempt.
Blackshear's got that running back look to him from Turning Point Academy, 5'9", 200 pounds. He's got offers from Kentucky, Pitt, FIU, Syracuse, Turning Point out of Palm Beach Gardens. 7-3 they were this past season.
Come on down to Florida, FIU. We'll be happy to watch you down here if you're going to get those kind of big hits and big plays.
Fourth down.
So Florida will stack the line once again, run an I formation, just 2 receivers on the outside and outlet passes for Caverly. Pitch out to the left, has blockers trying to cut back in, nowhere to go, and Lee J. Johnson cannot get there. A stop right near the goal line for Georgia, and they will put an end to the first threat of a score from the game.
Well, that's just great pursuit there by Corian Reese, coming up from the defensive back position to make that stop. Made sure he didn't lunge at him. He wrapped him up, brought him down, didn't let him turn the corner. An excellent play by Reese to prevent the touchdown. No possibility to get a first down there. Good play. Reese out of Statesboro High School in Georgia.
So Georgia with their second possession of this ball game, deep in their own territory. Quarterback handoff and wrapped up just past the line of scrimmage. Tackled by number 13, the 205, 6'3" linebacker Anthony Davis.
Well, look, to the credit of it's going to take these teams a quarter and a half to get warmed up, to get familiar with each other. They've been practicing for a couple of days, but these guys haven't played together at all this year.
And we saw plenty of good passes, good arms in practice as they were warming up out here. Easy 35, 40-yard pitch and catch. It's going to happen. We're going to have the explosive play. Quick snap, big cut into the second level, finally cut down. Nathan Cox, a great second step there. He got off of that ball off the left tackle and able to shoot right up inside the gap.
Nick Bowling there drops the shoulder on his legs there to bring him down. Good play by Bowling out of Sandalwood High School.
You can hear that hand clap from up here.
He's in the end zone.
Into the end zone. Is he going to get out? He does get out, but a huge loss.
Great backside pursuit by Dante Harris, the linebacker for Team Florida. Harris out of Mosley High School. Derek Harris out of Mosley High School, 6'2", 190 pounds, 53 tackles, an all-county linebacker, 2 interceptions, 1 sack. You saw the great backside pursuit there. What's the penalty, Graham?
I did not see a penalty. I did not see the signal. But I would assume either
it's on the defense.
Yeah, either a block in the back or possibly or maybe a face mask. Did not see it from the referee, but good enough for a first down. And Javian Doris, it's like they're going to flip-flop quarterbacks on each drive. So Doris this time is the one under center, 6'2", 160.
Oh, what
fakes the handoff and keeps it cutting back to the right side and pushed out of bounds beyond the 30-yard line. What a great play by Javian Doris. Sold it very, very well.
Faked me out. Let's take a look at the replay on this one. Great ball fake there, Graham. Had the entire defense moving one way, and he picks up another first down.
And they say, and I don't have a number 17 on my Georgia roster here, but you look at just how important receiver blocking is. That block that he sealed able to allow Doris to cut back to the right side, gave him at least an extra 4 or 5 yards, good enough for a first down. This time they make the handoff right inside on a blast, straight up the middle, and nowhere to go, right back to the 30-yard line.
You know, in high school football, generally, early in games, the production is going to come north and south. Right now, for Team Georgia, that production seems to be east and west, Graham.
And we will have a timeout on the field for a water break, and we will take a timeout. We'll be right back here to Haines City for the Georgia-Florida Football Showcase on SUV TV. Welcome back to the Feltram Sports Complex. Graham McGowan, Alan Slaughterzinski here on SUV TV to bring you the Georgia-Florida Football Showcase as the first quarter water break ends here. 2nd down and 10 for Georgia at the 30-yard line, back to where they started their first drive of this football game. As Doris rolling out to his right, has a man, makes the catch at the 44-yard line. Great job to roll and find him. Pass completed to Malik Grant, a D-back and a wide receiver. And we just mentioned how important the hands are for a defensive back. And you see it, they are able to play both sides of the football. Makes the catch, goes down, secures it. Another first down for Georgia. And they'll put a man in motion. They're going to run trips here on the near side. One man in the backfield, shotgun set for Doris. Handoff, thought of keeping it, probably should have. Absolutely demolished in the backfield. Ashton Jallat, number 54, the 6'4", 225-pound D lineman.
Out of Boca Raton, all-county lineman, 87 tackles, 16 sacks this past season, 116 total for his career.
And hair that makes me jealous.
Hey, look, he's like, they got that Michigan look on that. He looks like a Michigan lineman.
He does, kind of like Chase Winovich,
yeah.
with the Patriots now. But, man, to have a mane like that. Doris will keep it, trying to get away. Can he look downfield? He's got nowhere to go. He knew he had guys going to be downfield, and he obviously did. I'm looking right now at number 59. He was probably 5 yards downfield, nowhere to go. Good job by Doris, though. Again, there is no tackle box per se in National Federation of High School rules, so if you just try and throw it away, it's going to be intentional grounding. So he had to make the right choice. That was the heady play in high school rules for that quarterback.
That time, Jallat, it's funny, Jallat got wrapped up. He was held for about 4 seconds, so obviously the flags will stay a little buried today.
I think so, but again, you want that. I mean, you know, let them play a little bit. Let's see also what they have. Doris keeps it, gets away. He's got room to run, cuts back, makes them tackle, miss, still spins on his feet. Finally brought down, and Jallat chased him all the way down, grabs him from the back, slings him down just shy, probably saved a first down. And they're going to mark him, just shy, but the first time into Florida territory.
Here's a look at the replay here. He's going to have his fanny pack ripped off by Jarrell Carpenter. And then Jallat, look at Jallat's backside pursuit. Doesn't give up on the play and will eventually tackle him short of the first down mark. It's going to be 4th and 1, Graham. Great play by Jallat again.
Yeah, great motor by that young man. He is going to be someone that we will see a lot in this game and is going to make a college team very, very happy come Saturdays as his career continues. 4 receivers set. Again, shotgun, one in the backfield. Davis hands off right up the middle. I don't think he got it. I saw the helmet. I did not see the ball across that plane. And that's going to be short. It is marked. Turnover on downs. And what a play by the Florida defense to hold right at that point of attack. Devontae Harper, one of the linebackers, coming out of the end of that scrum.
And Deuce York, the line judge, immediately signaled it is Florida ball. Speaking of Deuce York and the line judge, Danny Mathis is the referee, Derek Williams the umpire, Lawrence Williams, Deuce York, Earl McCrary, Peter Henson, Jade McCray, and Tim Coates, the rest of your officials today.
So this time Moreland will be the quarterback. So Florida as well will rotate the man under center. He keeps it himself, breaks off a one tackle off the left side, and brought down good enough for a gain of 2.
Now, Moreland's got a sneaky arm on him, Graham. No doubt about it. Against Cocoa this year.
Yeah, I remember catching a little bit of the game on 321 Sportscast, and I mean, there were some where it didn't seem like much, and then all of a sudden he'd air one out.
Cocoa ended up beating Glade Central in that game, but I'm here to tell you right now, he can get that ball 50, 60 yards in the air easy.
They'll run a 4-receiver set, 2 slots, and 2 line receivers on the outside. The lefty looking, nowhere to go as he is still not. There's no whistle brought down by number 58 of Georgia. That's Jalen Miller, the 6'1 D lineman. I'm a bit surprised he didn't go ahead and blow that one dead a bit faster as progress had clearly been stopped. He gets slung to the ground.
Miller, an all-region lineman out of Tift County. 3-7 Tift County was this year. He had 101 tackles, 4 sacks, 12 quarterback hurries, and 12 tackles for loss this year. And there you see why he's able to get to the quarterback.
So make it now 3rd down and about 14 for Florida. Furthest back they have been from the line to gain so far in this game. 3-step drop looking, and he will air one out. Wow. Man behind the defense, and it sailed on him out of bounds. That was a touchdown if he could have hooked it up with Kaishawn Curry, the 6'1 wide receiver, and it just sailed out of the southpaw's hand out of bounds. Big break for Georgia. That would have been our first points of this ball game. Instead, 4th down and 14.
Great speed there by Curry down the sidelines. He was wide open by 4 or 5 yards, 6 yards if you look at the replay, maybe 7 or 8. And the ball just got up, floated on him, and flies out of bounds. And
that's a rough one, especially on a day where it's not overly windy outside. The rain has moved on. It's actually a little bit of cloud cover, but overall the breeze is pretty still. That's one that you definitely need to, and he knows, needs to hook up on and missed one. So Florida will punt this football away. Again, no rush and a pretty good punt. Spiraling punt over the head of the returner inside the 10-yard line, and he picks it up finally. He had touched it.
Uh-oh.
And now he's backtracking, and he will be dropped inside the 5-yard line.
Nick Patterson.
Was good enough for a punt of almost 54 yards. And you mentioned the punt game won't be much. They will mark the ball at the 5-yard line, and on back-to-back drives, Georgia will start inside of their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, not great field position for Team Georgia to start again. You look at their average starting field position to begin, and both times, Graham, they have begun inside of their own 15-yard line.
And then you see the tackle a little shy of the 5. I actually like the spot because initially his momentum was pushed him backwards, tried to regain and get himself moving forward. By the time they tackled him, I like that they actually stopped progress at the 5. I think it's a good call by this officiating crew. Stack back under center. The lefty looks. He will float one downfield in a double coverage. And a big push off of Erskine Tolliver.
Yeah, if you'll see on the replay, I would assume the only reason a flag doesn't fly here for offensive pass interference is because this is a non-catchable
I was thinking the exact same thing because it is a surefire push, 2 hands in the chest, well out of bounds. So, yeah, we as a referee, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Love it. Look, as the great wrestling magnate Freddie Blassie used to say, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Hey, just listen, if you ain't, say it in the Army, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right.
Handoff up the middle, good cutback. And that'll be in the second level of the defense. And good enough for us to be about a 7 or 8 yard gain. Yeah, making an 8-yard gain, 3rd down and 2. Explosive running play for Georgia there and puts them in a really good position to try and keep this drive alive and find some breathing room for Alex Stack.
You're watching here today on the SUVTV.com. Graham, 1:24 to go here, first quarter.
Stack, low snap, hands it off, trying to get the cut back. And Jaquez Williams gets far enough, just falls across the 15-yard line, and they will move the sticks.
That's a good first down there, a much-needed first down because you're obviously going to punt the football from there.
Right.
And if you have to punt from there, the wind actually is in their face. The flags on top of the goalpost, at least on the north end of the end zone, are blowing directly into the face of Team Georgia at the moment. You don't want to see Team Florida, if you're Team Georgia, get the ball at the 35 or 40-yard line.
Blitz off the corner. Stack gets away from it, and he will fire one away. Did have a man in the area.
I thought we couldn't blitz.
I thought that was the way it was explained to me, so I am not sure. That's
all right. I'll take it.
Pure pressure off the corner, unless he was on the line.
Declared on the line. That's Roberson, Trenton Roberson, that came in there.
So the clock will stop. 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Check that, Danny Cheely.
Clap of the hands again. High snap, handoff. Gets through the linebacker, or the D-line core. I'm surprised at that. Ran right in between the left guard and left tackle. Great job to open that hole and get them through it.
We're going to have a face mask here tacked on as well. Running back there, Savion McCray. You'll see the grab the face mask.
You can see it right there. Yeah. It's that head move. And all of a sudden, Georgia, from being at their own 5, really a nice bit of ball movement here. First down at the 29-yard line.
Remember, this drive began at their own 5.
Low snap. Once again, lower in the shoulder. This time, nowhere to go. Try to go off of the right hip of the center. And Savion McCray falls forward for a gain of 2. And I think that will take us to the end of the first quarter. 15 minutes of football in the books. No score, but a lot of big hits so far and some even bigger plays. We'll be right back here at the Georgia-Florida Showcase on the SUVTV.com. Welcome back into the broadcast booth. Alan, we were just talking as we get ready for the second quarter here, and Georgia's going to go ahead and they will be driving now left to right towards that west end zone as Stack claps the hands, a handoff, and drag down as another helmet comes off. 25 plays in one quarter. Not bad. Again, we're playing 15-minute quarters here, but the surprising one is just how effective the Florida defense has been at getting pressure off of that pretty standard 4-person rush onto the running game of Georgia.
Yeah, you look at Georgia, 7 negative rushing plays in the first quarter for them. Nothing really to speak of for either team, in terms of getting the ball in the air. So a lot of game left.
Stack drops in, 2-step drop, and he takes off. He sees open ground. He has a first down across the 40 to the 43-yard line, using all 6'6" of his 205-pound frame. Picks up the first down off of a 3rd and long. Really heads-up play there. Not sure that was designed or not, but he had about a 2-step drop and immediately saw the line with a big opening, took off right through it. Great heads-up play. And once again, Georgia moving the sticks. I mean, you've gone what? Looking at 38 yards here from the last punt that took you to the 5-yard line. pretty good so far for them as a dive across the middle brings them almost to the 45-yard line, and they will mark it at the 45.
Now, both of these teams are pretty deep in terms of there are plenty of players to sub in and out. But you have to look and ask yourself, too, what's the conditioning of these athletes? This is the middle of the winter break. It's been a couple of weeks since a lot of these guys. For some of these guys, it's been 6, 7, 8 weeks since they stepped on a football field and played. So, that something like that could take its toll a little bit later in the game, too.
Stack rolls to his right. Oh. That ball's loose and fell on and recovered by Florida by who else but number 54, Ashton Jallat, the 6'4" D lineman. We said we were going to hear his name.
But that play is made by the chase of Nick Patterson, whose pursuit and the way he swings his hand down to knock the football out. Patterson comes from across the field. And that is a definite swipe at the football to knock it loose for Jallat to cover it up.
All the way off the left side of that formation. He came all the way around, got through the block, chased him down from the back, and hammered it out. Fantastic defensive play by Florida. And once again, Florida's defense setting the tone for this team. It's not going to take a whole heck of a lot, I don't think. I mean, this is a Florida team that is hungry and playing very, very well. A couple of breaks on the offensive side of the ball, and this game could all of a sudden get out of hand. Quick pass into the zone, makes the catch, and across the 30 and brought down. And some extracurriculars going on here. And number 97 of Georgia getting a little bit too handsy with the face mask, and they are really good. This is some big-time preventive officiating. That is C.C. Clark.
So on that play there you see Harris break away. He gets separation from the defender, and dropping it in with a beautiful pass is the Team Florida quarterback. Yeah, and that's the biggest gain of the day through the air for either team.
Yeah, Quade Gardner steps in his first time under center again. Florida bringing in 3 quarterbacks, Georgia bringing in 2. So Quade Gardner with his first pass found, he said, Harris in that zone, nice little spot. And that was an easy pitch and catch for him, too. Really no pressure, able to stand in the pocket. Fakes the handoff, trying to turn the corner. He's being chased. Stiff arm out.
Oh.
And he is leveled.
That's number 37 for Team Georgia. That's Jerome Glover III, 5'8" defensive back, comes up and makes the stop. And you'll see here on the replay, he doesn't give up. In fact, doesn't even really need the help that comes, as Gardner tried to get outside, was not going to be able to turn the corner.
Yeah, Kai Felder playing on the D-back side, drops probably 5 or 6 yards deep and comes all the way in. But right, that pressure off of the defensive line on Gardner was the key piece. They went ahead and put that one for loss. 2nd down and 14 for Florida. Quade Gardner has Alfonso Damond in the backfield with him. Looking, stepping in the pocket, rolling to his left.
You get it in?
Quick throw. Look to see if it's called inbounds. No, out of bounds. We see from our far side official. And we'll take a look at the replay. As you see, Gardner, nice job by the line and the running back picking up the blitz, and he rolls out to his left side. Quick flick of the wrist.
Gardner had a good year this year. 1,529 passing yards, 17 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions, just a 57% completion percentage. But that's generally what you find
in high school. Absolutely. I mean, and this is it doesn't take much for, you're not likely to have someone who's going to go and climb the ladder and pull one in. I mean, it's not going to be, an all-star type team. So the first time he's getting some guys that can really
won a playoff game with Northside Christian. They were 8-3, so he had a good year.
Sets his feet, airs one out, has a man deep. That's a touchdown. Easy pitch and catch to number 19, Kayshawn Curry. And he was easily 10 yards deep behind the secondary, completely lost him. And we'll take a look at that replay.
Well, you'll watch Curry on the
near side of the screen.
On the left side of your screen here. It's just a straight go. He beats the defender, and beautiful pass, lofts it up, busted coverage, nobody back there. The closest defensive back was Corian Reese, and
yeah,
didn't happen.
I think Jorsey Ransom, the 5'9 DB, was supposed to go ahead and stay with him. Instead, he dropped in on the slant coming across the middle, and that left the safety completely outnumbered. And the kick up and good, 7-0 Florida. And we said all it needed is a couple of things to happen for the offense, and sure as heck, you get that right there from Quade Gardner.
Well, and the other thing here is what you want to see as a head coach is points off of turnovers. And Florida turns a fumble into 7 points, Graham.
And that was exactly like what it was. And a great route was run by number 8, Lenadrick Bailey. And he drew both of those defenders to him, and that left it open.
Yeah, and you see Joris Robinson at the top of your screen on that replay just put his hands up. That was just a miscommunication by the defensive backfield. And look, it's just as complicated on the defensive side of the backfield as it can be offensively when you only have a couple of days to practice together. And luckily for Team Florida, Quade Gardner, the 6'2 senior from Northside Christian, takes advantage.
So for their second drive of the second quarter, Georgia prepares. And this has been a game that so far we've seen, Alex Stack has looked good. Really, if he hadn't fumbled that football, he had a better hold on it. You're likely to have that drive at least net you a little better position. But one of those moments where it's something he's definitely going to learn from. But Georgia is in really good position from how they have played at moments. They're looking pretty good as a low end-over-end kick off of the third-level returner all the way to the backside. Good block around the corner, trying to get around and hit at the 29 and driven out. Did he get the ball up to the big line? I think they'll mark him down at the 30, but we will get the official spot from the umpire. Nope, they say 29 is where it was.
Don't have a 35, but whoever that is, great play on special teams there. Stayed in his lane and made the tackle.
So, again, they come into this. Jerseys get handed out only a couple of days prior to the ball game. So, we don't, we have as much as we can get, but these are not coming in with numbers from.
I love this information. This is
great
information.
They have been fantastic to us. Marcus Burnett and the rest of this crew here have been awesome. Big tackle, hard hit, good enough for a first down. And Nathan Cox, the 5'8 running back, with a full head of steam off of the left side of that formation to the 40-yard line and moves the sticks.
Well, you saw 4.40 speed there. Nathan Cox out of Miller Grove High School earned the top running back honors at the Georgia-Florida Showcase Camp. That's an automatic invite when you do that.
Another clap. The hands, hand off from the left side. They're going to go for again to the right side this time. Stiff arm, still on his feet, and a shoulder into him, and knocked out of bounds. Kermani Hunter, the DB, with the tackle. But Nathan Cox twice making his presence known. Good speed, able to turn the corner, and we see that a lot, especially where we are in Brevard County for Florida football. It's a lot of east-west to start off. We've seen a ton of heads-up into it football. Love that.
He read a great block there, and that was a great block by Deshaun Renew, the 6'5 offensive lineman. Oh.
Good rush off the right side and somehow scampers away. That's going to be across midfield for a first down and out of bounds.
Well, that's what Doris can do for you. He can get you out of trouble in a flash.
And look at this, right off of this left side, number 13 comes in somehow, and credit to number 65, Deshaun Renew, for not holding him.
Yeah.
And how Doris is able to step up and get past the pressure of Davis, I don't know.
I don't know either, but that was just a great play to make something out of absolutely nothing, because he was going backside Jersey into
easily.
The turf.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of those moments, again, as you turn, you're not securing the ball. That's an easy fumble opportunity there. So great job by Doris to step up, take off, move the sticks, and into Florida territory. 3 receivers on the near side. A 4-receiver set. Doris once again in the backfield. Handoff. No, a fake hand. That's a backwards pass.
Live ball.
And out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And Malik Grant able to at least scoop that one up, but a great heads-up call by our near side official, immediately punches that one back, makes it obvious that we have a backwards pass. It's live. We saw the opposite of that, a very close pass that was marked incomplete.
Right.
In a game we had this year with 321 Sportscast, and they call a late hit because it was incomplete, but there was no call made immediately. Right. So great job of the official to prevent anything like that and to make that call known. Doris waiting for the option. He takes the option himself, and that ball comes out as he was hit hard, diving forward. Ball came out, but that was obviously after he was on the ground.
Joseph Bonga comes in and just absolutely lays a shot on him. You'll see the replay here. But look, when he keeps that football, quarterback or not, you're fair game.
Yeah, and he's diving forward at shoulders up, so he is always trying to gain additional ground. It wasn't a slide.
Got a timeout.
We'll get a timeout on the Florida side. With their timeout, we'll step aside as well. This is the SUVTV.com and the Georgia-Florida Football Showcase All-Star Game. Welcome back to Feltram Sports Complex here in Haines City, Florida. 7-0 your score in the second quarter. Florida with the lead. Just over 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Georgia driving, fell way back on a backwards pass. Doris looking, ton of time. Finally lets one go into the defense. Big hole in that zone. Great job by number 3, Malik Grant. Comes back to his quarterback after he was well downfield, able to go ahead and provide that safety outlet. Big hole in the zone, and somehow, after that god-awful backwards pass that put them in we thought was going to be, a drive-ending territory, they moved the sticks.
You know what I like that Doris did there? He stepped up into the pocket, didn't have anything, and instead of panicking and looking to take off with the football, he reset himself. He literally reset himself, took another 3-step drop. That's how much time he had. Right. And then Malik Grant was able to find himself in the middle of that zone to bring up 4th and 4. So 4th and manageable now. I say you take a shot at it here.
I mean, I think you have to, as timeout was called by Georgia. We're going to stick here during their timeout. But, I thought they had moved the sticks, forgetting just how far back they actually were. But again, at least back into Florida territory. And you're right. I think part of this is keeping the flags in the pockets, which I'm not totally against. I think we've seen enough penalties called throughout all levels of football that we've had a chance to broadcast and just watch in general, that it's nice to see that these guys are letting them play, but they're also getting into any of the chippiness and knocking it off. Obviously, we saw it earlier with Kanan, and everything has been good. Haven't seen any problems there again. But that was the kind of thing where if there was holding, it was not egregious, at least not that I saw.
No,
and a great job by the O-line to keep that pressure clean.
Yeah.
So 4th and 4, pressure shown from the cornerbacks. They're going to try and jam these receivers. And that's exactly what you thought was going to happen. The hard count, the clap of the hands, and that's going to be good enough for a 5-yard penalty, which will be a Georgia first down. And they somehow managed to wriggle their way out of what had to be, 2nd and probably 20 into 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line and driving in.
Doris this year, 1,228 passing yards and 1,053 rushing yards.
And slung down, and a little bit more extracurriculars. Tackled by number 41 of Florida. That's Richard Landis, 6'3" defensive lineman.
More here on Doris. He comes from Hampton High School. out of Hampton, Georgia, 6'2", 260 pounds. Hampton was 5-6 this year. He had 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, but he added 10 more via the ground. So he had 20 total touchdowns this year, 2,305 all-purpose yards for his team.
And he will once again work the shotgun, a running back on his left hip pocket. A 4-receiver set and a handoff. Now he will keep it. Great fake. He's got room to run around the corner. Left side still running and out of bounds. Saves himself from the contact, and there was a big hit looming from Dallas Donahue, number 26. Dallas Donahue, a name that is a bit familiar to you and I.
Yeah, if it weren't for Joseph Bonga over there, Doris was gone for 6. So, but anyway, we're from Brevard County, Florida. We got one player in this game representing Brevard, and he is the only freshman from either team, Dallas Donahue of the Merritt Island Mustangs. Congratulations, young man.
So 3rd down and 3. Georgia, this is probably the best offensive drive we have seen from them. Immediate rollout to the right, looking nowhere to go, and brought down. He was swarmed by the defense. Huge hit by Devontae Harper, the linebacker, and finished up by number 22, Trenton Roberson.
Yeah, Roberson just had a head of steam coming in from the backside. If Doris was going to get away from the first defender, he certainly wasn't going to get away from Roberson, who wraps up and forces a 4th and 11 now, Graham.
Yeah, you have to think on that kind of play that there was no pass design, because you have to try and get it to something. Just throw it in the turf, something to not take that sack. Now, a 4th down you have to try for. Still looking, directing traffic, heaves one up into coverage, and it is picked off. Is it? It is picked off. Bobbled and finally picked off. And thrown down at the 15-yard line.
Kermani Hunter for Team Florida with the interception. You know what? That's okay. That's no harm, no foul. That's as good as a punt.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably better than the punt you may have gotten. And I don't mean that in any jest, but with the one punt we saw, it's about the best you could do. It was a Hail Mary with really he couldn't no mustard behind it. Couldn't get his feet set. It's just a prayer. Yeah,
he's on the run, threw off of 1 foot. All of the things you don't want your quarterback to do, he does. Luckily, again, Florida this time will take over with the bad field position as they get the ball on the 15-yard line. But a good play.
And how about the hands? I mean, we played hot potato, probably 2 or 3 bounces before Hunter finally was able to go ahead and haul that one in.
Hunter out of Forest Hill High School. Quaid is back in.
Low snap. Gardner keeps it and just takes off trying to get some positive yardage, and does so, but nowhere to go. And that's the thing. We have seen a couple of the center play has been a bit tough on both sides. Some low snaps that especially opening on the drive for with Stack in Georgia really put him off a little bit, because he was really leaning to one side trying to scoop that ball up.
Well, here's the thing. As a former quarterback, you get a center that maybe his quarterback this year liked the ball a little lower. So you get yourself into a rhythm of doing that, and now you've got somebody else, under center, and he might like the ball a little bit higher. So it takes some time.
And when
adjust.
Stack is 6'6",
right.
it's also
exactly.
There's a bit of a different launch angle,
right.
if you will. So Gardner back at the line of scrimmage. He will take a 3-step drop. This time he will pull it down. Has good block. Still looking downfield. And dumps that one off. That was across his body. Nothing he could really do. Dante Harris, the intended receiver, but really he had overran where Harris was coming back to. Had to throw almost off of his left shoulder as a righty. Nothing really going to come from that.
Yeah, that's the type of play that as an offensive coach you just pull your hair out, because you see your quarterback starting to run. He's right-handed. If he's going to complete anything, it's got to come back across the field. You're inside of your own 20-yard line. When he releases that ball, it really is a hope and a prayer.
So 3rd down and 10, and Gardner not having the same success he did on his previous time under center. Pressure coming from Georgia. That ball's picked off, and he's got room. Nobody there. Pick 6. Touchdown, Georgia.
James Shellman goes up, snags it. Nobody in front. He finishes it off 14, Georgia.
And here's the replay. Gardner made that one look the entire time, and the pressure right off of the middle by Carson Carpenter, the key, and just manhandling there. That was man-to-man, hard shot up in the middle. That was all about size. 6'2", up in the air, untouched, into the end zone.
And Middle Tennessee State University, the early signee, making Middle Tennessee happy there, Graham, with the pick six.
And you can see, and we'll get another look. Yeah, see right off the middle there. That was a great, and you could see it. You could see the way that Carpenter was making it look. He's only in a 2-point stance. You can see he was going to make that cut either right heads up. In that case, took his time, came around right through the A gap off the center's left shoulder, put the pressure on, nothing to do but force a throw. Ends up into a pick six.
And certainly Shellman showing some hands there because he had to go up and get that football. That's a great play for the Island High School senior.
It's like teal and black, the colors on that helmet along with the red jersey, white stripe, white numbers. And Georgia an extra point away from tying.
Are they going for two here?
Are they? I guess they are. Yeah, it looks like they are. Yeah, Alex Stack under center. They're going to hand it off and stretching across. Does he have it? Looking to see. Yes, he does from our near side official on the line. Judge raises the hands. And that was Jaquez Williams off of the right side. Here's the replay. Low snap again, the handoff. Great cut back inside off of the right tackle, stretching out. And good enough for the 2-point conversion.
Starts with Stack being able to keep that ball off the ground on the low snap. And you're right, Graham, great cut there. And a lean across. Now, if this was the NFL, I might throw my challenge flag to see if his knees were down. But it's not.
Thankfully. That's all we need is to see a red flag flying out of the press box window.
8-7, huh?
6 minutes to go here in the first half, and all of a sudden, and you know what? This pains me. It always does. It always pains me when I have to say, you know what, Alan? You were right.
What's that?
You said it would take about a quarter and a half for the offenses to click.
Yep.
And on basically back-to-back drives, well, it's been the Georgia defense on this one, but still, we see the offense kind of working a little bit, and all of a sudden 8-7.
Yep.
It just hurts a little bit.
That's all right, Graham. I am right. Every once in a while, blind squirrels do find nuts. You better pick that ball up.
Busted clock right twice a day. That's right. And that was a great point, is that one. And that's a decent return. That'll put Florida starting at the 39-yard line. Returned by 24, Ernest Blackshear, I believe that was by 23, rather, Nick Bowling, the linebacker. But you say pick it up and say, well, that would basically be a long onside kick. It's not a punt. You can't just down it.
Right. Yeah, you can't. You got to get after that. I mean, we've seen this play happen in the NFL sometimes. Every so often, you'll see an NFL player just let a kickoff go, and he'll walk over to the coach and like, "What are you doing?"
Right. And they will take the water break on the field as
we need a doc.
Looking to see if we have.
Let's recap. Let's recap here, Graham, real quick, if we could here. So scores 8-7 here at the Florida Georgia All-Star High School Football Showcase. There is a medical emergency in the stands that has stopped the game momentarily.
Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and
take a break.
Yeah, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to the game here in just a few minutes.
Then we'll recap. Yep. All right, welcome back here to the Feltram Sports Complex. Alan Slaughterzinski, Graham McGowan with you. 1st and 10 now for Team Florida. And the quarterback, we'll get you set up on the quarterback here in just a second. It is number 10. That's Marion Moreland. He scrambles. Little dump pass out to Dante Harris. And Harris gets up the sidelines. He's going to pick up maybe 20-yard lines, but there's a flag down. We'll see what the flag is. Cross the line of scrimmage. So, unfortunately, that was a good find to find Harris there, but Moreland had crossed the line of scrimmage when he threw the football. And in doing so, the ball will be marked down as a loss. So that's going to bring up, they'll repeat first down. They're going to take a timeout here. All right, everything okay down there, Graham?
Yeah, it looks to be okay. Just it's like a child is having a bit of a medical issue. I think got overheated, but it looks to be okay.
Little muggy day here. It's hot, overcast, a little rainy, as we said a little bit earlier. All right, let's recap this game here. It's 8-7 Georgia on top. Florida gets on top with a touchdown pass. First, wide open. The pass was from Quade Harris.
Correct.
That was 35 yards, I believe. 35
Gardner. Quade Gardner,
35-yard touchdown pass. And then Team Georgia takes the lead after James Shellman racks in a pick six. The 2-point conversion is good. And that's where we stand. Here's a look at the pick six again as Shellman. I'm just impressed with the way he goes up, gets it, brings the ball in, and makes the play down the field. That is looks like to be about a 37-yard pick six for Shellman.
Yeah.
And again, the early signee. We had the early signing period back on December 18th. Are you a fan of the early signing period, Graham, or do you really think it makes a difference?
What gets me is that even with the early signing, the team can change their mind. So even if you sign until the official signing day when everything becomes official, if a team changes their mind, if a coaching staff changes, as a run to the left side brought down, that was DeCondre Moore. But if the school changes their mind and coaching staff changes, now all of a sudden that player can be the one who gets stuck. So that's my biggest concern is as soon as you sign, everyone else was talking to you.
Yep.
And I don't like the fact that you're putting some of these kids in that position to have to make a decision of, okay, well, is my offer going to be here if I wait until this point, and then they can just change it when they want to.
Yep.
That I'm not a fan of.
There you see the change across the field. 3rd and 9.
And this time they have Moreland under center for Florida.
Nice throw.
Big lefty over the top. Pass intended for Kayshawn Curry. Again, that was into double coverage.
Well, that's not I can't put all of that on Moreland. Kayshawn Curry, just for whatever reason, stopped running his route. Yes, it was into double coverage. He had beaten the first defender and had a step on the second. When you see the replay there, he keeps running his route as an opportunity to catch that football. You can't stop running.
Yeah, and Curry definitely has the advantage over Danny Cheeley, about a 3-inch advantage in height. So you're looking at the vertical, put it where he can get it. But and back to that pick six, I think the thing that I was so impressed by was that Shellman obviously playing more in the middle of the field, but he charged that ball, which I think is what lended itself so much to the interception.
Yep.
Was him coming up to it and then being able to to pick it off like that. Good punt.
There is Shellman.
To the 20-yard line. Shellman looking, cutting, spinning, still on his feet, and then laid out at the 35-yard line. Number 34, George Hawkins the third, a 6-foot, 195-pound linebacker.
Woohoo!
Absolutely popping Shellman.
Yeah, you're going to see the hit here. Clean hit, led with his shoulder. Boom! Here it comes. There it is.
Good wrap. Yeah, shoulder pad, right to shoulder pad. Good wrap. Brings him down. And Georgia now a chance to, after a pretty good defensive set there. Again, their last defensive possession was a pick six. This one they were able to stop Florida, but and really the best starting field position they have had since the beginning of this ball game, where they began at the 30-yard line. So a chance now for Alex Stack to make something happen here and put some offensive points on the board for Georgia. Stack looking, trying to get somewhere. Somehow gets away from 2 defenders. Cannot pass the ball. Too many guys downfield, nobody nearby. And he is brought down a couple of yards shy of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Gerald Carpenter gets him there. That'll go down officially as a sack for Carpenter. What I like that Carpenter didn't do there is he wouldn't let Stack get back to the inside here. He keeps him pressed, heading towards the sidelines, and eventually makes the tackle for the sack. You'll see what I mean here on the replay. See, he kept him from coming in because if Stack can turn up, he's got room to run.
Right, and the fact that you have backside help coming, as long as you can push him towards the sideline, you give him less room to work with, and you have backside to clean it up. Good overall defensive play once again by Florida. Stack claps of hands. Quick pass out to the right side into the flat, around the side and down the side, finally across midfield and pulled down at the 48-yard line is DeCondre Moore, the 5'9" wide receiver. And a flag back at the 34-yard line.
Holding against Georgia. That must have been obvious. As we've seen some holds here today that haven't been
We'll take
called.
a look at the replay here.
It is right here.
Yeah, you can see
you
can see the receiver all the way inside, restricting the movement of the defender to make a chase, and that would obviously have cut the that run down quite a bit. That was number 38, Larry Smith, being held, a running back and also a linebacker for Florida. So a tough one, but that's a good call. Got to let him go.
Just got to get it a little tighter.
If he could have kept Smith's body to him.
Right, he would have got away with it.
Exactly, but as soon as he begins to make that turn and you can see him not be able to disengage, that's where the flag comes out.
And don't try that at home, kids.
And that run nowhere to go. Again, holding a 10-yard penalty from the spot of that foul. So make it now 3rd and 16 for Georgia. And what we were hoping was maybe going to be a positive offensive possession. If they can't turn something big here on 3rd down, certainly don't think you go forward on 4th down up by 1 in the second quarter. And Alex Stack with a 4-receiver set. That's another hold. That's got to be a flag as well.
No.
Wow, how that one did not get called.
You're going to see this on the replay.
Oh, my goodness. I mean,
but look,
that uncatchable. Watch off the right side here. Right there,
Trenton
number
Roberson.
1 off the round. And just absolutely, horse-collared him. Oh, my gosh. How do you not?
Trenton Roberson, I was just getting ready to say, Roberson made the tackle on the last play. He's having himself quite a game here today, is Trenton Roberson for Team Florida. He's from Hardy High School, 6'1", 180 pounds, finished with 61 tackles, and 26 of those tackles were for a loss. The way he's playing here today, his speed off the edge, you can surely see why he has a good percentage of his tackles for negative yards.
See, those are the moments where if that pass had been completed, I said, okay, now we're letting them play just a smidge much. And
here it is again. You're going to see it right in the middle of your screen. You're not. It's going to happen right in the hole. There it is.
As the punt away, taken at the 36-yard line, looking for a place to cut back. Hard hit right near midfield and then pushed backwards. Good return by Florida. I believe that was number 14 on the return, Kermani Hunter. So Florida will take over near midfield, just over 2 minutes left here in the first half.
Now, look, if you're Team Florida here, you need to get some rhythm going. I'd like to see a little bit more RPO here, Graham. I really would. I know both of these quarterbacks. I've seen who's in. It depends who we got in the quarterback. Oh, we're back to
Andy Caverly will be under center this time.
So I don't know much about Caverly. He started the first series of the game.
Correct, and we really hadn't seen him much. Low pass. That's going to be incomplete. Yeah, good quick whistle on the incompletion as that one dropped. Caverly coming from the same high school as Jallat does. You see the Wolverine-style yellow bands off of his helmet. But this has been, and I kind of understand what the coaching staffs are wanting to do here is, especially once you get a score up there, yet you're giving everyone your equal playing time. It's why there's no slaughter rule, although we don't see that really becoming a problem. And we're playing 15-minute full-size quarters to give all these kids a chance to really have a chance to stand out in an all-star game.
He had 600 passing yards, 12 touchdowns and 7 picks this year for Boca Raton.
Under center again, handoff on the right side. Good blocking, room down the sideline. Bust through, big play for Florida. Flag on the play by the umpire, and a holding called on Florida. Again, I hope this one is much more egregious than the one that didn't get thrown just a little bit ago.
Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. It was. He grabbed him by the back of the jersey. That's going to be on number 61 for Florida. That's Samuel Desir. So that's going to make it second down and about 14, Graham. That was but I don't want that penalty to take away from Lee J. Johnson's run, because that was a good burst of speed.
It really
we
was.
saw.
Explosive off the right side. Good handoff. I mean, he has a really good view for what his gaps are, and able to make those quick cuts, plant a foot, move laterally, then explode forward again. Just like that. And you see, once again, plants that right foot, cuts back to the left this time. That was good for 6 yards. It doesn't seem like much, but right to midfield from second and long makes it still, third and long isn't the greatest, but 3rd and 8's a lot better than 3rd and 14 as we hit a minute and a half left here in the second quarter.
Now, look, Lee J is an all-purpose athlete. He had 1,093 rushing yards. He's listed as a receiver for Tampa Bay Christian. 121 receiving yards. He averaged 157 all-purpose yards a game. He also had 41 tackles this year.
Ball at midfield, 3rd and 8 for Caverly, and will we get a timeout? I saw him being called. Yeah, timeout called by Florida.
When you see a player like Lee J. Johnson and you go back and watch him run, he's not a big guy. He's 5'8" in terms of height, 170 pounds. The thing you like about a back like that is to keep your shoulders square and your feet chopping. Keep your feet moving, and Lee J. certainly did that on those 2 carries.
And that's one of the things that, it's so impressive, but also so scary.
Yes.
To have a back that with that kind of lateral cut ability, because that's the kind of thing that ends up causing those knee tears.
Right.
And obviously not saying it in a way of not jinxing it, if you will, and nothing like that, but it also makes you worry, because you're putting so much pressure and so many pounds on just that knee trying to move side to side. It doesn't take much for that ligament to want to go ahead and say, that was a bit too much this one time, or a funky angle, or God forbid you get grabbed as you're cutting, and then then there's a pull.
That's why making sure, as a running back coach, you have to make sure these kids keep their shoulders squared, because that's the balance.
Right.
That's a false start. And that was funny there. I don't know if you saw that at home, but Ernest Blackshear just missed it by half a step. He got up on the tip of his toes there. Watch. Here he comes. There, just a little rock forward there. But that's enough for the flag, and that'll back him up 5 more yards.
And the tough thing there is everything that you just saw, that big run, that big cut now is removed because of the 5-yard penalty back to the 45-yard line. Line to gain is the 42 of Georgia, so have to get across midfield. 3rd down and 13. Gardner stepping up, quick outlet pass. Breaks a tackle and still on his feet, lowering his shoulder, pulled across the first down marker, and a flag comes in late from the far side judge.
I want to see what this is going to be called.
That maybe a late hit out of bounds.
I don't know.
As we were just under a minute, and that came from far down the field. Normally she is watching the back end of that play, kind of playing it clean. She's going to go ahead and wipe it up.
Well, as you're going to see here on your replay, the first down is all Ernest Blackshear. He's just going to lower his shoulders and lower the boom on the defensive back, picking up the additional 4 yards that were necessary. That's wanting it just a little bit more than the guy that was standing in your way to prevent it.
And he really – and we've seen him work in the fullback slot in these I formations, and he is a big son. I mean, you see him out there, he's a big son of a gun out there.
Picked off.
He was on a knee, though. Yeah, that's going to be down.
Jaden Peterson.
Yeah, he's a big son of a gun, and you get him running full speed, heads up football with a full head of steam. He's hard to bring down, and that head of steam is good for an extra 2 or 3 yards.
Jaden Patterson.
See what Caverly was looking at is he just telegraphed that the entire time. Yeah, right into coverage. And I'm not even sure where he was going. His receiver had come off that and was kind of rounding the corner.
Well, that's the one thing, too, when you're 5'10" back there. It's tough to see over your offensive line. That's just a fact of life. I'm not picking on his height. So you got to be decisive with the football. He wasn't decisive there, and Jaden Patterson out of Riverwood High School made him pay.
Clap of the hands, looking to pass, looking to air one out, pulls it down, and is pulled down. And number 5, Brandon Adams, first time we have called his number, the 150-pound defensive back. And 15 seconds left.
Well, I don't know if the replay is going to show it, but he had a guy downfield wide open, and I just don't think he saw him.
Yeah, and that is going to do it. They're going to go ahead and let the clock run out at the end of the first half. The Georgia All-Stars lead by 1 courtesy of a pick six, 8-7. We will step away. We'll be back for second half football on the SUV TV.
This is Tamara Brown with SUV TV at the CP3 Rising Stars campus.
SUV TV's 2019 NBA Draft Day coverage.
Anthony Edwards Collegiate Decision presented by the Georgia Hoop Circle on SUV TV.
SUV TV brings the game to the audience.
You give a better focus on the actual game at hand. Sometimes you could tell it's just a running camera by itself sitting there, but with SUV TV, it's more of a personal experience.
Just the exposure, being able to see games that you normally wouldn't be able to see, not only here locally, but across the country.
Those angles make you pick up different things as a coach, as an evaluator. They're giving you great quality, nobody talking in the background. I think it brings basketball to the forefront.
Whether it's a family member was in a different state, they can watch the game, or just bringing in more coverage for these players, or if it just allows us to raise more money for something like Susan G. Komen. And so I think this event has grown because you guys have been a part of it the whole entire time.
SUV TV has given a different light to kids that don't always get the best exposure.
The commentary that goes along with the games, I think is always interesting.
Touchdown.
Oh, yes, sir. It brings something to the table that no other streaming aspect can bring, no matter how hard they try right now.
Game time, Davian Williamson at the buzzer. That is how you get the Peachtree Corners Invitational started. And that will do it. Thanks for joining.
Welcome back, everybody. Graham McGowan, Alan Slaughterzinski here with you at the Georgia-Florida Football Showcase All-Star Game in Haines City. The sun is out, but so are the umbrellas. The rain just came down probably only maybe 5 minutes or so, but we had a pretty good soaking. Now, granted, it's a turf field, so I'm not too concerned about it. The only difficulty may be on the side of the umpire. I don't think he brought a towel, so will this affect the passing game is something that we will see. And the ironic thing in that, Alan, as you and I were talking off camera during the break, is I've really been surprised because of the rule set not allowing blitzing until the fourth quarter that we haven't seen these teams really try and air it out more than we have.
Right.
And now with the rain a little bit, you're going to have these balls a little bit more slick. Some of the turf is going to be on that, those rubber pellets. I wonder if that will affect them, or if they will try and maybe get a little bit of offensive firepower going in the third quarter before everything opens up in the fourth.
Yeah, look, all-star games are typically a feeling out process, one side, the other side, unless it's the NFL Pro Bowl, and then there's no rules and you can just throw the ball all over the place. But, for these kids, even the college all-star games you'll see sometimes, college all-star football games you'll see, they tend to be low-scoring affairs to get started, and then the next thing you know, the faucet's open and everything pours out, and I think that's what we'll have here.
Pun intended, obviously, with the rain as it continues to fall.
That's exactly right.
And we're going to get a really good feel of that come next week at Camping World Stadium, just a stone's throw away from here. As the we have a different. Oh no, there we go. They're gonna change the crew around just a little bit. A different referee. It's like our head linesman is going to put on the white hat. So not sure if there was an injury to our referee, but I do not see him out there. So they're going to go ahead and run to a 6-man crew while the umpire is back there with the football.
Only an umpire, referee, or official would recognize that.
I mean, I do what I can.
I mean,
that was probably the analysis. You're like, okay, I don't really need to know that, but I'm just letting you. But again, you're going to see.
Right.
That will affect a little bit of positioning. So Florida again, they deferred. They get to receive the kick to open the second half. It is 8-7. Georgia does have the lead again off that pick six. And that should be blown. I thought it would be blown dead. The ball came off the
Georgia ball.
They're still saying that ball's live. Did Georgia recover it?
They did.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that ball came off the tee.
That was 10 yards. Here's the replay. They touched.
But that ball fell off the tee prior to him making contact. That should have been blown immediately dead.
It was.
And a re-kick.
It was, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's the beauty of having a guy that does this part-time.
Okay, all right, so we will have a re-kick. So the whole scrum goes for nothing.
It was fun to watch.
It is. Now, I don't know about you, and this is off topic, but I'm looking at the window.
Re-explain that
and
again.
We have a rainbow right here, and I see where it's coming down, and I want to go see if there's either Guinness, some type of beverage, or just a pot of something. Caleb, go find out. So, yes,
explain that again.
So what you're seeing is, as we typically see, right, when it's windy and the ball falls off the tee and you have to have a holder in the NFL, in this case, the ball fell off right before he went to kick it, which, again, makes the kick illegal, for lack of a better term. There's no penalty, but it should have been blown dead and a re-kick. Now the kick is muffed, picked back up by Florida, and finally brought down across the 35-yard line is Kermani Hunter. So a great job by the officiating crew at the end of it. Would have liked to see it blown dead a lot faster to prevent any concerns, but a good job by them to go ahead and at least get it right and allow the re-kick, although it's frustrating for Georgia, but it was the right choice all the way around.
Graham, we had 25 plays in that first quarter, 25 in the second. A little bit more action.
It's like deja vu all over again.
Said Yogi Berra. All right, Graham.
Let's see. So it looks as though we're going to have Quade Gardner will start the second half under center for Florida. You can see that number 9 jerseys. He looks at the sideline. Alfonso Damond, a little late getting into the formation, has been one of the key pieces of the running back core for this team. And they're going to put Gardner under center? Yes, they will.
The last pass he threw, James Shellman picked it off and ran it back for a pick 6.
So one of the rarities of high school football is a quarterback under center. And a straight handoff. Great play all the way around. Good design. Good for about 3 yards to the 40-yard line. So good to start with a positive play for Florida. And Gardner to the sideline as he will pick up the play. Again, this is we're not running this like we would your standard high school game, so the electronics aren't here. These are teams that have been brought together, so the helmet's not going to have the microphones. Everything is going to be taken from the sideline, so either hand signals or most likely over for the play, which I would expect means a little bit more freedom with that play clock as well.
Jeremiah Castro's in the backfield. Now keep your eye on Castro from Graceville. 1,768 yards this season, 150 a game.
Looking for the reverse and brought down in the backfield. Big tackle by number 37, Jerome Glover III, the 200-pound, 5'8" DB. Great pressure around the side. Here you will see he comes off that left side of the formation, able to stay with the runner, chases him down man on man, and brings him down.
Your ball carrier was Taquan Chapman out of Bishop Verot, 5'8", 160-pound. Bishop Verot, the Bees, I think they're called, 9-3 this year, 814 receiving yards. He had 19 total touchdowns in his career for Bishop Verot.
So 3rd down and 12, and again, Gardner for the 3rd straight time taking it under center, so not going to be airing this ball out. That should be a false start. Number 55, I believe, moved first, and it is a false start. Terrell Morris, the offensive lineman, the right guard, making the first motion, which then again brought the defense across. That's why they often tell you if a defensive line, well, not so much in high school when it's a dead ball, but if a D lineman jumps across that neutral, reach out and touch him. That way you're not making a false start, but you're going ahead initiating that neutral zone infraction. Now, again, in high school, it's an immediate dead ball, so there is no live ball encroachment or offside.
He used to teach the centers to snap the football. Just snap it when the defensive lineman comes over.
Yep. Free play, obviously, as you grow in the game into new levels. So 3rd down and long, 4-receiver set. Gardner lets one go. That's pissed off.
My goodness
Jumped
gracious.
the route, cutting back, has blockers, still trying to get inside the 10, and he is brought down. Picked off by Jerome Glover. He telegraphed that the entire way. Nothing behind it, and Glover came in and jumped that route. Here's the replay. Glover, the top red jersey on your screen. See that right there? Comes right in front of it. 3 yards in front of the intended receiver, Dante Harris. Saving tackle by number 24 there to prevent another pick 6.
No better word to use than telegraph. That's exactly what happened there. He didn't even move his eyes away from the receiver.
Yeah, look the whole way. It's a frozen rope kind of pass. The easiest one to pick off. And reading the whole way, it was just like a receiver able to just move right in there and make the pick. Handoff on the left side and immediately slung down. Braxton Smith, the ball carrier, flooded on the left side of that formation. That'll be a loss.
Javion Doris will start off as the quarterback for Team Georgia here in the second half, and you certainly couldn't ask for better field position than this as the ball is on the 10-yard line, Graham.
Yeah, they start with 10. They'll mark him back. I think they marked him. No, they marked him from the 9 to the 10. 2nd and goal. Again, goal to go here, have to score. They got all the way inside that 10-yard line. Quick handoff.
Good.
Yeah, great off-tackle run. Comes right up on the counter inside of the center and left guard. Dives forward for close to an 8-yard gain. They're going to mark him on the 1-yard line. This is what if I'm Georgia, I go under center and right over the top.
Braxton Smith with that nice little cut back there.
The handoff and right up the middle. Touchdown, Georgia. Nathan Cox keeps it right on the blast off the right hip of that center and into the end zone. The first offensive touchdown for Georgia. And just like their first set of points, every point so far coming off of a defensive turnover. Georgia's defense all of a sudden really coming into its own here.
Well, he just followed the block of big Damari Fullwood up front The hole opened, parted like the Red Sea, and into the end zone, and they'll go for 2 again.
Nathan Cox, the running back, at 3 o'clock, right next to Doris, hands it off, cutting, trying to find a spot, cuts inside, still pushing, trying to get across, no whistles yet, and looking to see from the near side, and officially it is no good. 14-7, so again, this is where 2-point conversions help you and hurt you. What you wanted to make was to be a 2-score game. Now Florida within a touchdown and an extra point, be able to knot this game up. Opening drive for Georgia nets them 6. 14-7 your score. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Kickoff, Georgia to Florida. That's a shanked kick to the right. Looking to see. I lose track in the press box, but I do believe that's going to be an out of bounds. So that should be an illegal procedure kick, and they have the option of the 35-yard line or 5 yards and a re-kick. I would assume Florida will choose to take it at 35 and just go ahead and move on.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to start from. Now, we're going to see here if indeed Quay Gardner comes back out at quarterback, or if they go to one of the other 3 quarterbacks on the roster here.
Yeah, I would think so. And as I'm looking to see who we have walking on to the field,
it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be Marion.
I think it's Marion Moreland. Yeah, so that's where
Central.
I was going. Yep, you can see him right there, number 10 in the yellow. One of the 2 yellow helmets, the taller of the 2 young gentlemen.
An unusual year for Glade Central down in the muck this year. They were just 1-9, which is, if you know anything about Glade Central football, 1-9 is unheard of.
That's about the same as Archbishop McCarthy or even Cocoa for being where we are, of being under 500 or basically being out of the conversation the entire year. They're a team who is very feared by a lot of football teams. The lefty looking downfield, airs one out, and not sure where. There was no one that way. Obviously, some offensive confusion there. Is
the old stretch the arm pass.
That or whatever he thought he was looking for, and we have something going on. It's like you can see the hands up. I didn't do it, which means there was, I'm going to guess, a little bit of holding or some extracurriculars when a lineman puts his hands up. I've seen that look all too many times, but
I didn't take the cookie from the cookie jar.
That's right. As the crumbs are still on on someone's face. Yeah, that's the kind of pass that you like to see it, but it worries me that there's that kind of communication concern, especially now that you're down by 7. You really need to have something kind of opened up. Rolling to his left, still looking, lets one go and makes the catch right at the 49.5-yard line, we'll say. Again, on a knee, playing just like the NCAA. Once your knee is down, you are down, touched or not.
Lenadrick Bailey, what I liked that what Bailey did there was, you know what? Yeah, he had to get his knee down. If he doesn't, a lot of people say, well, he's got all kind of, but he made sure he made the catch and got the first down.
Exactly, and that was the key there, is because obviously, as he's scrambling, not as much behind it, him getting down to ensure he is in prime position to receive that football leaves you open for a first down and good field position. This time a handoff on the right side, a blast up front being pulled and tugged, nowhere to go finally.
Oh.
Yeah, finally blown dead. That's a late hit. You heard multiple whistles, and it kept going. And finally going to be a flag for a late hit. That was Jonell DeGiusti, the wide receiver, 5'11", and you'll see here on the replay, that's pretty much end of progress, and then multiple whistles coming in, still whistles, and then you end up getting the end, and they pull him down. And that actually was Sheridan Ippolito. So that'll be good enough for the 15-yard penalty and another first down. Again, no automatic first downs in high school football, but the yardage will necessitate the movement of the chain. So Florida now inside the 40-yard line of Georgia. Mark them at the 36 to start off this next set of downs. Man in motion. You can see that handoff coming. The sweep. There was a hold there, and they let it go. Brought down for very little gain, but number 56 for Florida, Michael Moment, had his hands up on the upper collar of the defensive lineman. You're going to see it here as he goes ahead and gets away. Right there, you can see the hold, the hands on the shoulders.
Yep.
And definitely letting him play, I think, is the understatement of the day. But, again, the gain only of 2 yards. 2nd down and 8 for Florida.
I like it. You know me. Let him play. Let him play.
Direct snap, keeps it, looking, trying out to the left side, stiff arms, and brought down across the 30. Good chase.
Good tackle there by Elijah Deckel.
And out to the left side of that formation. There was nowhere for him to go. And again, that is the kind of play where really you can use that reverse that you just ran, almost do the exact same thing, but fake it and keep it, or turn it into the Navy triple option. The Georgia Tech triple option. You fake it, you have a chance to pitch it or keep it yourself. I think that would be a play that, with how good that reverse can be, really opens up your offensive playbook.
Yeah, this is 2-down territory here.
This time he will keep it, cutting inside. Hard hit, wrapped up and thrown down, and a flag on the play. Something happened late. I don't think that was on the tackle of the quarterback. Looks like there was a hit to one of the offensive linemen, number 60, Patrick Manconi. And I'm going to see if we can take a look at the
dead ball,
personal
foul. That's against Florida.
On Florida. Okay, so.
Well, the hit was Parker Mullis with a good hit there to finish off the ball carrier. But I don't disagree with this call. And here's why. This game is getting a little chippy. And all too often,
That's what it was. It was actually Manconi
there.
dove on top of the defender after he already had blocked him down. That's a good call. Not needed. And, again, that's if you're going to throw flags for the safety issues, I like that. If you're going to be easy on it, you take care of the chippiness, that's a good flag.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that is. But it does bring up 4th and about 3 buses.
Yeah, it is. 4th down now and 18 at the 45-yard line. The line to gain the 26.
4 wide receivers.
Steps back, pressure off the right side. Nowhere to go, steps up. He's got to get rid of it. And brought down. Great tackle, great chase by the Georgia defense.
Highland Generalette did not let him get out of his grips. He wrapped up, made sure he held on, and he'll get the quarterback sack. You'll see here as Moreland scrambles around. He slips and falls there, and taking advantage of that is Generalette. And he's just going to bring him down, Graham, for the quarterback sack.
Yeah, has an offer from Culver Stockton from Jenkins High School, 6'1", 205. And, man, a great speed on him as well. That closing speed, especially the way that we have seen these quarterbacks move. Big-time turnover on downs in Georgia. They will take over from the 48-yard line of Florida. So knocking on, rather their own 48, and they are knocking on Florida territory right now. Alex Stack will work under center. He'll be flanked by 2 running backs, 1 on each hip pocket. He'll flank 1 out to the right side. A quick backwards pass, has a screen, has the blocker into the second level, tripped up and dives forward. And that was Shemensky Rucker, the first time we've seen the 5'9" wide receiver. And they're going to say the knee was down just shy of the line to gain. A 9-yard gain on the quick swing pass screen. 2nd and 1 for Georgia. And a good start to this drive for them here in the third quarter.
Well, I like where Alex Stack put the ball. He didn't throw it behind him. He gave him an opportunity to make a play once he got it in his hands. That's what you want to do, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers in space.
And they'll run the exact same thing or same look. Low snap again. There you go. Stack runs forward. Not much space.
He should have enough.
Should be enough to move the sticks. That would have been a lot more effective had it not been at his shoe tops. But again, And that's the first thing you see. And if we get the replay on this, watch the line. As soon as they – okay, we didn't get that point, but as soon as that running back went ahead and flared out to the left side, the defense began to move with them. So you already see you're going to have a little bit of an easier shot here. They're expecting it, but you flip it around, set it right up the middle, good enough to move it, and then we have a flag, and we'll see maybe a little bit of chippiness.
We were talking about Shemensky Rucker, and the first time we've mentioned his name today. He's from Central Gwinnett High School, 5'9", 170 pounds, 609 rushing yards this year, 320 receiving yards, 1,153 all-purpose, 8 touchdowns. He had 7 of them on the ground. He also had a kickoff return for a touchdown this year. Busy season for Shemensky Rucker.
So unsportsmanlike conduct called on Florida, and I think we're going to get it on both sides here. So the penalties will offset.
It's a warning, essentially, what it is.
Right. Now, now a second unsportsmanlike on one of those players will result in disqualification, but it's a way to go ahead and say, look, you both were at fault here, so we're going to go ahead and make this even. And I think a lot of times that's what unsportsmanlike, when you have where it ends up being multiple combatants, if you will, is a good way to go ahead and do it.
And we're watching.
So they flare him out again. This time they hand it off. So, well, we've seen the same formation 3 different times with 3 different play designs.
Oh, they're going to hit it.
Yeah, and that time you see it as Florida comes in, lays on the hit inside that B gap. Number 29 for Florida, Devontae Harper, the linebacker, blows it up. 5'9", 210, and you could see him just laying the runner out.
We were just talking about Rucker and his all-purpose yards and his abilities to do a lot. That is Rucker you see swinging out on what looks like a drawn up. This is a package or a play designed especially for him.
I think the idea is, as you begin to flare a linebacker out, this time they're going to go ahead and run the counter on the left side, really know where to go. And again, everything that you have done has really – I don't like the play design on this particular one because of the fact that Rucker has flared out to the left so many times. You have your speed guys working that side of the field in the case they go back to that play.
Yeah.
This time you try and run a counter on that side. It's swarmed immediately, and you get dropped for no gain at all.
Well, the other thing I'm not picking on Coach, and certainly we're up here in the press box, but I don't like 2 speed backs. I don't like one of them being used as a lead block. They tend to run into each other, which you saw there.
Exactly. Big clap of the hands. 3-step drop. Pressure down the field. Into pressure. Knocked away by the Florida defense.
Anthony Davis with a nice play there to knock that away.
Yeah, Davis and Jamal Carter both in the backfield.
That was the best hard pass of the day we've seen.
Yeah, 3 receivers on that right side. He aired it out just a little bit too much on it. And really good one-on-one coverage, yeah. And you see on the right side, you see a man open, but that's because the defense swarmed to that ball. There was really nowhere to go. That was great. You really had 2 high coverage with a cornerback mixed in there. So it's 3-on-2 coverage. Hard to complete that ball, but ran it high enough, 50-50 to either be caught or knocked away. Less likely to have an interception. 4th down and 8 for Stack, and again, 3 receivers to the right side of him.
Keep your eye on the slot.
Quick pass screen and missed completely. And a dejected look from number 19, Bryson Mullins. The first time he's really been on the field and kind of been involved, and you can see some frustration there. That was just way too quick. Mullins trying to get around, but the pressure was coming. He had some time, though.
Yeah, Coach Horry just telling him, it'll be all right. We'll get you the ball. 5:25 to play here in the third quarter. EC, that's not a good play by the quarterback at all.
No, and part of that and part of that goes to George Hawkins, the linebacker. Again, he's on the line, making him blitz eligible, but good speed around the corner, able to force Stack at least to kind of think he has to get rid of the ball, probably faster than he had to. Could have stepped up into the pocket and had an extra second or two. So good job of the defense to force a fast play. Moreland once again, he will air this one out. One-on-one down the sideline, and then once again sails on him out of bounds. So Florida trying to strike deep, quick, and in a hurry, and twice so far have come up empty on the arm of Moreland.
All right, third time's going to be the charm for Moreland, and his intended target, Keyshawn Curry. Last time I gave Curry a little bit of grief because he stopped running. This time he kept with his route, just needed him to turn back the other way a little bit, and maybe we can get a completion between he and his quarterback.
And I think Merlin, I would aim probably for your front number. It looks like it's sailing on him just a bit to the left side. That ball's dropped. Still loose.
Georgia
diving on. I think Georgia has it.
They do.
And they do. The clock is killed. Georgia ball on a bad snap and a bad transition on the handoff. And we'll take a look at the replay here.
I think Kalade Williams comes up with this, number 34. But getting in there to make sure that Florida did not was number 58, Jalen Miller.
I think you're exactly right. Yeah, you see 34 kind of come in from the backside, really through the legs.
Actually, no.
And if he did,
it was
and
39.
if it was, then Miller comes in. He kind of knocks it forward back into Getter. So, great job once again by the Georgia defense. 5:10 left in the third and a 14-7 lead for Georgia. Pressure coming, looking for a place to go, has plenty of time, evades another one, finally airs it out, has a man downfield, and that ball's caught!
What a catch. Great concentration by number 26. That's Matthew Niles. What a play.
And I'll give you this, flag is down back at the 39. I can't believe there was nobody illegally downfield, but that flag would be more in the line of a hold.
What a play by Niles, or he's either Niles or Nails. What a it's coming back, all for naught.
And we'll see. Yeah, I think we're gonna get a hold on that call. So Javion Doris able to keep a play alive. Somehow had over 5 or 6 seconds to throw, and in the end, a hold will negate it. A 10-yard penalty. That's painful. And again, the hold behind the line of scrimmage, so it's 10 yards from the spot. So now make it first down and probably 23, ball all the way back at the 48-yard line. So Javion Doris once again under center. Now knows he can hit the throw, though. Jallat with the flush, looking somewhere, and he is grabbed and flung out of bounds. And, man, coming in, you could see number 22 for Florida, Trenton Roberson. He had him teed up for a shot.
Jarrell Carpenter needs to be commended here because discipline. He doesn't let him go. You're going to see him. He grabs him by his jersey, wants to throw him through the fence, but does not. Holds him up. And you know what? No penalty. It's 2nd and 22 or 23 now.
Saves you 15 yards and putting Georgia back into a more manageable situation here.
They got to get these edge blocks sealed.
That was good enough for a gain. All that running for a gain of 1 yard. 2nd down now, and we'll call about 23. Looking quick dump off and swallowed up back at the line of scrimmage. Pass completed to number 98.
Jamari Brooks.
I think Brooks had the tackle. I think Brooks had the tackle. Don't have a 98, unfortunately. And we will.
You may have a cramp.
Yeah, I think that, or it looks like it might be something on that hamstring.
Yeah.
So as they go ahead and tend to him, we'll go ahead and step aside here for just a minute. Be back on SUV TV.
We'll find out for sure. You are watching the Georgia versus Florida.
Welcome back into the broadcast booth. Graham McGowan, Alan Slaughterzinski here on the SUVTV.com. The Georgia-Florida football All-Star Game showcase here in Haines City, Florida. And up and okay seems to be the receiver. A leg injury had him down momentarily. He'll be out for at least one play and then eligible to return. Third down and still a country mile. Ball at the 47. The line to gain the 28, so 21 yards. Pressure once again, and no holding called once again. The pass off number 28. Room to run, still churning the legs. And out to the 30-yard line, so a good bit of running there by Georgia, and that will put them into at least a fourth and manageable situation. Again, you are up by the touchdown. It is only the third quarter here, but I think you're deep enough in territory, you go for it.
Yeah, Braxton Smith nearly gets it all by himself there. But the backside pursuit of 5'9", 215-pound linebacker Josh Schwartz put an end to that in a hurry.
And Georgia will go for it. Javian Doris once again will work under center. Nathan Cox, the running back, on his left hip pocket, trying to get the jump. And nice job by Florida. They do not bite on the jump, so now all of a sudden you have to actually maybe try and run a play.
Yep.
4th down and 7. Handoff to Cox. And
no.
Wow, what a fake by. He has it all the way around the 20-yard line and pushed out of bounds. I was even found to be faked out. Javian Doris, what a fantastic play. We'll run it back for you. Here's the replay.
He puts it in his belly, but then pulls it back, and everybody, including
and that is such an important play, is the ability to pull that out hard. If you let it be too easy, running back tries to wrap it up. You end up finding that fumble. That was a great play by Doris. Somehow moves the chains off of that holding play. And now 1st and 10 inside the 20-yard line. A red zone, a pitch out to the right side. Cox right on the corner, slung around and brought down across the 15-yard line. Good for a gain of 5.
I thought that ball was on the ground there for just a moment, but my eyes deceived me. They are inside of the SUVTV red zone here.
That's really the first time we've seen a pitch from either team. We've seen the handoff, something kind of easy, but that was really a nice, get him in motion, nice pitch, good location for it, able to get him in stride, and open field for Cox as well.
Defenses have done a good job today on inside of the red zone.
Run out to the left side and swallowed up by the defense, and that has been really the key here for Florida is when they've been up against it, for the most part, they have been able to answer. Really, it's been the turnover bug that has plagued Florida offensively, leading to all 14 of Georgia's points and the 7-point lead they hold over the Florida All-Stars here in the third quarter, as we are just crossing the 120 mark in the end of the third. Doris shifting some guys around. Number 40, Zane Roberts, being shifted almost as a tight end blocker. They're running to the left. You can see it just by the formation size. And Florida is not at all confused by it. They're able to get around the blocks, flood the outlet side for Georgia.
I don't think I'm running into Trenton Roberson's side, who's had quite a day for that Florida defense. And there you see Roberson, who's a technique textbook tackler, wrap up and bring the ball carrier to the ground, so bringing up 4th down.
Another 4th down for Georgia. This time manageable. 4th down and 2. You were able to hold the jump last time. Florida, do not jump again. The last thing you want to do is give these guys 1st and goal. Hold them here. That'd be one of the keys. Handoff. Nope, Doris keeps it. Dorian
wide open.
Oh! What a defensive play. Coming across, laying out with the hand. That's number 6, Joseph Bonga. And we will go back to the replay for sure on this. Look at Bonga.
Shot out of a cannon to knock that down. Wide open. Here you see he's not Bonga now into the picture.
Wasn't even his own man. He was held up with the outside receiver, number 17. Sees the pass coming, and there was just enough softness behind that touch pass for him to get out there and put a finger on it and able to knock that away. Big-time stop.
You ever watch that show, NFL Turning Points? That could be, if Florida could come back and win this football game, that could be the key play of the game.
Moreland once again will go under center. A handoff on the left side. Blockers and a head of steam across the 25. And a big run by number 24, Ernest Blackshear. Again, 5'9", 200 pounds. Really at this age, kind of makes you feel a little bit like a Jerome Bedford. I mean, kind of built. He's a bigger back, a little shorter, stockier, but he can lower that shoulder. And when he gets going, there's really no bringing him down, not giving him extra yards. Good cut around the outside.
I see why Pitt likes him. He's got a similar build to James Conner.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely.
Another Steeler player, of course. And that's a team who, we've gotten to know as far as they've been a UCF team that they have faced, of course, in the ACC as one of the bigger pieces. So the third quarter comes to an end, 14-7 is the score, and Georgia really excited right now. But yeah, the way you see Blackshear is the key. We will go ahead and take a timeout here. Head to the fourth quarter. It's 14-7, Georgia with the lead. And welcome back to Feltram Sports Field in Haines City, Florida. The fourth quarter here, the blitz is on. 14-7, Georgia leads. Florida has the ball, and here comes the blitz. First play of the game's a blitz, and a quick outlet pass. Caught and good enough for a first down by Dante Harris.
Well, there's the danger of the blitz. We saw this last night with Clemson, nearly almost getting burned. They love Brett Venables loves to send those linebackers. There you see it there. But what it does is it opens space on the side and across the middle.
And that was number 36 for Georgia, Isaiah Thomas, with the blitz right inside that C gap. Good pressure, but also good time to be able to get it out, know where your outlet receiver is. And that's the key here is now all of a sudden what the formations you've been running, you've got to have somewhere to go with the football. 5-step drop. Gets him in the air, slips and down. And that'll go as a should go as a sack. That's number 58.
Jalen Miller.
And that's, again, you look at that. That was you went to a 5-7-step drop. And what gets me is it didn't look as though Moreland really knew where he was supposed to go with the football.
Yeah.
And it's the confusion of not knowing what your routes are, I think, that led to that, because he was dropping almost like he was thinking, okay, where am I going? Where am I going? And then by the time he had an idea, he had two defenders on him and nowhere to go.
Miller, that's his second sack today, and would be his sixth unofficially on the season.
So a huge loss, second down and 20-plus. Looking, hit from behind and dropped down. So fortunate that wasn't going to be a fumble. That ball was wide open just a second earlier. If number 96, Jacoby Walls, had got there, could have punched that ball out and been the third turnover for Georgia.
Well, you certainly are seeing a much
more aggressive Georgia defense.
Well, now that you can blitz.
Right, yeah, that's for sure. Line to gain the 49 of Georgia. Got to get across midfield. Football all the way back right now at the 25-yard line.
You've got 3 all-region linebackers out there right now and 3 all-region defensive linemen out there right now. So Florida, offensively, they have their hands full with this Georgia defense at the moment.
Yeah, 3rd and 26, 4-receiver set. 3-step drop looking. Oh, incomplete.
That's footstep feeling there.
Pass intended for number 8, Lenadrick Bailey. And the thing there is he never really got his feet set. If you watch his replay, he's still shuffling. He never really committed to it. You see everything is stoic. He never really planted that foot. And when your press foot is the one that's kind of kicking up behind you, and there wasn't really anything behind it, that's why it barely got to his intended receiver.
Well, that's the repercussions of 2 straight sacks to a quarterback.
Yeah, all of a sudden that timer in your head starts moving a little bit faster than you were used to. I think he had the Tom Coughlin timer in the head. It was 5 minutes early, I think.
Right, exactly.
And Florida will have to punt it away. 4th down and 22. Again, still cannot rush. So the rush on a punt not allowed at all during this game. And it's going to bounce out at the 37-yard line. So a pretty good punt overall. About 35, 37 yards will net the punt. And Georgia will take over in good field position for their first drive of the 4th quarter. They come in here being down 7-0, kind of spinning the wheels to begin this football game, Allen. And then all of a sudden, the pick six, that'll put life into any football team. And then all of a sudden it's 14-7 and you have a commanding lead and you seem like you are in control of this ball game.
Well, you feel you're in control of this ball game. I mean, your offense hasn't done very much at all. But you feel like you're in control of this ball game because it's the old adage, Graham, right? Defense wins championships. And right now, this defense is the best unit on the field. And
that's the thing for Florida. If Florida's defense can really get back into this, and the blitz may change it. Stack airs one out and overshoots his receiver. He had double coverage down there as well. And this is one of those moments, if maybe now, and this is kind of the scary thing, right, is you had that chance down there for points. You mentioned the turning point of this ball game. The blitz changes everything all of a sudden. And really, if Florida's defense can pick up the pace and actually play the way that we saw them play earlier in the first quarter, there is a false sense of security here, I would think, for Georgia, because you have a lead, you felt confident, you kind of controlled the pace for the majority of the latter half of the first half and all of the second half. That can change really with one play, one mistake.
Look, unless you're the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson at quarterback right now, you are a lot of teams this time of the year. They fall on the backs of their defenses. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's what gives you your swag. That's what gives you that playoff push, that playoff feel right now, and you feel that from Georgia. You can see the sidelines when they're all hyped up a little bit. So you want your offense to cash in on that, though.
Right. That was Devontae Harper on the tackle. A great tackle on that right side. Stack looking, has time. A lame duck pass. Almost picked off. Was in the hands of number 17, Tevin Griffey. Yes, that Griffey. And he could not haul it in, but a flag on the play on the far on our near side, on the far official at the 29. A sideline warning, it appears, and that may be, I believe, a penalty. They already had a sideline warning.
No, first of all, you're lucky that wasn't targeting on that. If you look at the replay, could have easily been called. But so maybe they get away with a targeting call there. But Griffey does not come down with it, and that flag is still sitting on the field. So,
I think for Griffey, if there had been a padded blue wall in center field, he probably would have climbed that sucker and hauled it in. And that was, it bounced off the hands. You got a player down right at your feet. You're trying to keep your balance and just couldn't haul it in and secure it. But great defense by Florida. All of a sudden they are showing up, and that's big because Stack should have really he had so much time to throw. He should have been good. So 4th down and now 15. And Georgia will take a timeout. As they take a timeout, so will we here on SUV TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Georgia-Florida Showcase All-Star Game here on SUV TV. I'm Graham McGowan, joined by Alan Slaughterzinski. And, Alan, we just heard this, obviously, on the PA. And this is the first of many high school football all-star games that'll be played around the United States. The biggest being in Camping World Stadium on January 2nd, and that is the All-American, or the Under Armour All-American Bowls, the end-over-end punt taken by Florida at the 32-yard line, across the 40 and down to the 44-yard line. Number 14, Kermani Hunter with the return. Now, I know you're going to be at the All-American game. I'd love to join you. I know you tried to get me down there. I just can't make it. But a ton of players, one from our area, going to be there. Very exciting for these young men.
Yeah, no, look, it is. You'll see close to, I think it's 70 of the ESPN top 100 players in the country there. Our particular player, Ladarius Tennyson out of Rockledge High School.
Auburn commit.
Auburn. He signed. He's ready to sign, seal, and deliver.
Right.
Ready to go. So this game's a lot of fun. The thing that's a lot of fun for us as the fans and covering is Ed Reed coaches one team and Deion Sanders coaches the other.
Low snap for Florida somehow. Thankfully, Quade Gardner able to scoop that one up, and that was almost disastrous for Florida. So that was Andy Caverly, rather, able to grab the low snap. And with Caverly, he will head to the sideline, and Marion Moreland will come back in.
And I was looking at the offensive coordinator for one of those two teams, and Deion Sanders' offensive coordinator, Chad Johnson.
Okay.
Former Bengals wide receiver.
Now, I wonder if it's more offense or more talking that he's been coaching. I'm not sure which one it is. Handoff, looking to cut around the left side, has upfield. Hit hard, it had to be stuffed. 4 different players. Whistle's been blown, and finally they stopped. Good job by the officials in there. You can see whistles being said, some saying stop. Good job by the players. That has got to be the hardest thing in the game. As an official, you're so conscious of the fact that these guys are, talk about, kind of blocking everything out around you, but what you're trying to do, that whistle, as loud as it feels to everybody else, when you're playing,
you don't hear it.
You're not thinking about it. So great job to get these guys to slow down and stop, and no flags needed.
Unless you are the guy on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
Then you hear it all day.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're going to be made Gumby and Stretch Armstrong in between like 4 different guys that weigh, 250 pounds. Moreland 3-step drop. Airs one out. One-on-one coverage.
Oh.
Just out of reach of the intended receiver, number 19, Kayshawn Curry.
Well, there it was. Just missed it. Look, there's not anything you can say about that play other than missed it by that much. That's a good throw and a great route there. And again, I was a little rough on Curry earlier when when he stopped running. But they're an all-out effort, and he misses by just that much.
Yeah, there was nothing else he could do, and really you had to put it where Moreland did. Anything under that, you run the risk of it being picked off or knocked away. You had to give him a chance to run underneath of it and haul it in. He gave it the best he could. It was full jet the entire way, just maybe a yard or so out of the reach of the receiver.
Marion Moreland, of course, if I'm his coach, I got to work on that hitch. He's got to get that ball up and throw from his elbow high instead of from his hip.
And you could see the way that ball began to tail. It was almost sitting flush as it came down. It did not keep that spiral.
No.
And they will once again punt this football away. Trenton Roberson, the punter.
That's a dangerous play.
Yeah, picked up by DeQuandre Moore. I'm not sure why he picked that one up. It's not
because he wants to touch the ball.
Yeah, I guess. But you don't want to be the reason that you touch the ball and the other team possesses the ball, and that was a big possibility.
He's like, I want to
right
make a
there.
play. Put me in, coach. Got an injured player down on the field. And there's also a flag over there too, Graham.
Yeah, I'm looking to see. Yeah, I don't see. I was trying to catch the tail end of the replay to see where the flag may have come from, and it's. And I don't think it had anything to do with this player. I think this is kind of where he went down.
And apparently this is going to be a prolonged injury timeout because they're asking for an ambulance already.
All right, we're going to go ahead and step aside here on the broadcast. We'll be back here in just a few minutes on SUV.
Tamara Brown with SUV TV at the CP3 Rising Stars campus.
SUV TV's 2019 NBA Draft Day coverage.
Anthony Edwards Collegiate Decision, presented by the Georgia Hoop Circle on SUV TV.
SUV TV brings the game to the audience.
You give a better focus on the actual game at hand. Sometimes you could tell it's just a running camera by itself sitting there, but with SUV TV, it's more of a personal experience.
Just the exposure, being able to see games that you normally wouldn't be able to see, not only here locally, but across the country.
Those angles make you pick up different things as a coach, as an evaluator. They're giving you great quality, nobody talking in the background. I think it brings basketball to the forefront.
Whether it's a family member that lives in a different state, they can watch the game, or just bringing in more coverage for these players, or if it just allows us to raise more money for something like Susan G. Komen. And so I think this event has grown because you guys have been a part of it the whole entire time.
SUV TV has given a different light to kids that don't always get the best exposure.
The commentary that goes along with the games, I think, is always interesting.
Touchdown.
Oh, yes, sir. It brings something to the table that no other streaming aspect can bring, no matter how hard they try right now.
Game time, Davian Williamson at the buzzer. That is how you get the Peachtree Corners Invitational started. And that will do it. Thanks for joining.
Welcome back into the broadcast booth, folks. Graham McGowan here. Alan is off for just a moment. Just wanted to give you a quick update. There appears to be some type of serious lower body injury to the player. Unsure of who it is. Even if we know, we're not going to pass along that information. But shoulder pads are off. From our understanding, we are waiting for medical personnel to arrive and transport this young man. So we all of our thoughts with him and his family here, who do appear at least to be here with him, which is a good thing. A quick update of the game. Again, still 14-7 is your score. Georgia with the lead by 7 points. There was a flag on the play. Unsure if it is in any relation to the injury. Again, looking back at the replay, we didn't see anything. We're not really apt to want to go back and try and view the replay for the possibility of seeing the injury to the player, and we don't want to put that out there for him or his family as well. But we are at the point now with 9:43 remaining in this game, and we are in a holding pattern. We're going to take another break. Once Alan gets back, we'll go ahead and come back on. We'll talk a little bit of just football in general, a little bit of college, take you into at least our preview of the national championship game between Clemson and LSU, and talk a little bit of NFL playoffs as well, as we wait for medical personnel to get here and attend to the young man on the field. Again, you're watching the SUVTV.com, the Georgia-Florida High School Football All-Star Game Showcase in Haines City, Florida. We will be right back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, folks. Haines City, Florida. Graham McGowan, Alan Starzinski back in the booth now. The Georgia-Florida All-Star Game showcase here at Feltram Sports Complex. And, again, we have medical personnel on site, so they can now tend to that young man down there. Again, a 14-7 football game. Georgia with the lead. Florida with, I believe Florida has the football. It's been so long now, I'm not kind of sure where we're at. More concerned with that young man down there, but 9:43 left in this ball game.
You know, these two states, when you stop and think about high school football in this country, obviously the three staple states are Florida, Texas, and California, but certainly Georgia, Louisiana, even over the last couple of years, 10, 12 years, I'd say South Carolina has really gotten into the mix. But, you know, Georgia has, and if you look at the state of Florida and you look at the games that the teams from the state of Florida go play against Georgia, they generally don't fare very well.
Right.
Georgia generally puts it on them. Now, we were lucky enough this year where our team in Brevard County Rockledge went up to Georgia and won a game, but
that was Ware County, I believe, wasn't it?
Ware County, that's correct. But you look at the state champions this year in that Class 6A region for Georgia, Marietta, Downs, Lowndes. Marietta in this one, death by 1,000 paper cuts in this game, drives of 79, 69, 81 yards in the first half, and got out to a 17-0 lead and was able to hold on.
The way we've seen some of these passers here, it's 1,000 cuts or one big, long guillotine
right.
swipe. I mean, that's the thing is you mentioned that you see in Florida as well, but I mean, the thing with, you know, and you, even Alabama, and you don't think of it as much, but I mean, my God, just the fact that you get, you know, the sized young men that you do. I mean, defensively, you think of just how good and how big the defensive players are down here. And maybe some of that's just the good old Southern home cooking, which is about the best thing that there is out there. But at the end of the day, you know, that really is the beauty of this game. And, yeah, maybe you can say the Under Armour All-America Bowl kind of takes away some of the shine from an all-star game like this. But when you get kids from these two states, you know, they rival each other. They've seen each other, and obviously in Pop Warner and other youth leagues. Well, it's a lot of fun involved.
In Class 5A, Harrison defeated Alatoona 20-7. In Class 4A, Buford beat the aforementioned Warner 17-14. Warner Robins in that one. In that 4A game, Blessed Trinity over Oconee County 17-14. In 3A, it was Cedar Grove 21. Chris County 14. In AA, Dublin beats Brooks County 42-32. In Class A private, Eagles Landing Christian 33 and Wesleyan 13. In Class A public, it was Irwin County 56, Marion County 14. And in the state of Florida, where there are 8 classifications.
Right, and that's right. They go by A, AA, AAA. We are 1A all the way up to 8A.
Right. You had some really good games. You had St. Thomas, or actually starting 8A. You had Columbus defeat Apopka 31-20 or 21-20.
Which in and of itself, I mean, Apopka has always been a Florida in general, but a Central Florida powerhouse school. And for them to go ahead and actually fall by a point in the state final, this was thought to be one of those years that was really going to be another Apopka type year. And big surprise for Florida high school football fans.
Yep. St. Thomas beats Edgewater 28-23 in 7A. And 6A, Miami Central, which to me was the best team in the entire state of Florida this year, or Miami Northwestern. You could take your pick there. Miami Central defeats Escambia 62-27. 5A, which a lot of teams out of our county come out of.
Right.
Miami Northwestern defeats Jones out of Orlando 34-17. In 4A, Washington, Booker T defeated Bowles, who, of course, beat Cocoa in the state semifinal 25-21. In Class 3A, Chaminade Madonna over Florida High out of Tallahassee. 2A, Chaminade defeated Christian 35-14. And in 1A, Madison County out of Hialeah, Florida, defeated Victory Christian 35-14. So all of that settled. Florida, Georgia All-Star Showcase. And, of course, you mentioned the Under Armour game coming up on July 2nd. For me,
January 2nd.
January 2nd. I mean, And
I'm okay with it on July 2nd.
did I say July 2nd?
July 2nd. I'm okay with that.
I'll take it July. I'm already into next season for
Right.
high school football as a young man. Will, as you see on your screen, require Polk County Fire and Rescue. He's going to need a stretcher to lead the field. He does have a lower body injury, so he is obviously being assisted too.
So let's go ahead and so you were at the Notre Dame game yesterday, obviously against Iowa State. And Iowa State, we have a player here with an offer from Iowa State.
Yeah.
Probably going to need his defensive power after what Notre Dame did.
Any team in the Big 12,
right? But then again, we get into the important ones. One is LSU, Oklahoma. I should say LSU because Oklahoma apparently didn't know that there was a game until garbage time.
Yeah, that was crazy.
As you rub your eyes, I think that was the Oklahoma look. And then of course we get into Clemson, Ohio State, which if you want to talk about a massively different style of football game, that was a slobber knocker, heavyweight fight. And that leads us to a Tigers versus Tigers, Death Valley versus Death Valley kind of game. And I think we'll get into the discussion of who do we think is going to be, who comes out where. But I'll ask you this, and I heard this throughout my drive down today. Did the kind of football that we saw yesterday, especially with Oklahoma being the number 4 team, did that go ahead and put the death nail in the conversation for an 18 playoff, or should it?
I think it should. First of all, Oklahoma's been the go-to team over the last couple of years, haven't they? I mean, 3 years in, and in 3 years, this is the type of performances that we get. I'll say this. The monkey wrench in the entire equation over the last couple of years has been UCF.
Right.
But, ironically, Joe Burrows and the great run that he went on this year to go on to win the Heisman Trophy, to now play in the National, that run started in the second half of last year's, what were they, in the Fiesta Bowl last year?
I think so.
Last year's Fiesta Bowl against UCF. UCF had Joe Burrow and LSU dead to rights in the first half.
The pick six, he gets absolutely blown up.
Yep. And then the second half, it's a different Joe Burrow. They go on to win that football game, and then you see Joe Burrow this year. But for me, I think we're good with 4.
Which has to be the scariest thing if you're an NFL GM.
Yeah.
Because that is the guy that you don't know. Or am I hitting a home run?
Yep.
Or am I going to pop out?
Yep.
And it's you have to take the entire equation in. But we have seen, and you mentioned Lamar Jackson, and again, as a running quarterback, it's a different story. But I mean, you are, last year kind of finding his way. Then he does. Well, Burrow is going to have to find his way again.
Yep.
But now that he's already been through that journey, is it there?
Yeah.
I think is the big question.
If you take a guy like Lamar Jackson and you look at what he's done, and you mentioned the running quarterback, and he's done things with his legs and feet this year that nobody before him did in terms of yards and records that he's broken. That includes the great Michael Vick.
Yeah. When Madden has to redesign game controls around you,
right,
which is pretty much what Lamar Jackson necessitates.
That's exactly
I mean, that
right.
tells you just how dynamic of a player he is.
But he also leads the National Football League with 36 touchdown passes. So he went in and developed his game. If you're Joe Burrow, you just can't come out thinking, you know what, I've got a 80% completion percentage playing in the SEC, and that's going to be good. You got to continue to hone your craft. And for Burrow, what that means is the weight room and the film room.
Right.
The weight room and the film room. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But you know what? If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm taking Joe Burrow.
I certainly think he is the cerebral quarterback with a chip on his shoulder. The question is going to just end up being, does he have the ability to withstand the punishment that comes with an NFL schedule? Now, that brings us to the all-important question. Who do you have, the Tigers or the Tigers?
Well, I'm going to take the ones that wear the purple and the gold.
Yeah.
Michigan plays Alabama at the Citrus Bowl at 1 o'clock on New Year's Day, and I'm trying to work up the gusto to be able to ask Nick Saban, because if you look at Alabama's losses over the last, it's come to nothing but Tigers. LSU, Auburn, and, of course, last year, Clemson.
Right.
So, to ask Nick if Alabama can beat Michigan, was he glad They didn't play the Michigan Tigers. But no, I'll take
let me know how that response comes.
How that goes, right? I'll take LSU, and I'll take LSU. You know, I predicted Clemson would win yesterday. I did on our pregame show before the bowl game yesterday. I felt Clemson would win because, A, I like Dabo Swinney as a coach. I think he instills that chip on your shoulder. We're a disrespected foot. You're the reigning national champions, ranked third in the country. You haven't lost for 26 straight now. You decimate your conference every year, but yet still as a coach, you can motivate your players to believe that you're an underdog, you carry a chip on your shoulder, and you're disrespected. They play that card well, and you know what? Don't be surprised if they can play it for one more game.
And that's I agree. I still think LSU – I think LSU is the better team. Overall, talent-wise, they're the better team. But damn it, Dabo Swinney and that they are – I'm not going to say they're a team of destiny in any way, shape, or form, but the way that they play, and you mentioned they play aggressive, they play with a chip, you don't count them out. And there's a reason it's only a -5 line.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be scrappy. It's going to be, punch in the mouth, get your eyes watery, then how fast can you shake it off and get back to it? And that's going to be the key. And I think the main thing right now really is if it can become that kind of game, that's where it falls into Clemson's favor because they have been tested. They've been punched in the mouth. We've seen them play horrible and come back and win. LSU, for the most part, has just been a dump truck, mixed with a steamroller front who can run 70 miles an hour and flatten you.
Yep, and look, I will say this. If you're Brett Venable and that Clemson Tiger defense, you held Ohio State to those 3 field goals in the first half of that game, and if any of those field goals were touchdowns, it's a different contest last night. You will not hold LSU to 3 field goals, okay? LSU's going to cash in 2 out of every 3 times with 6. So Clemson and their great quarterback, they're going to have to keep pace because this is going to be one of those shootouts that we've seen in national championship games past, like we saw Alabama and Clemson play. This is going to be a 51-50, 51-48 game. So we'll see.
It could be. I'm not sure I agree because I think that Clemson will do very similar to what they did last night at Ohio State. I think you're going to see a lot of pressure at Burrow. You're going to force him to make the right read, to step up, and to be able to do what you have to do. Now, again, when you have SEC offensive and defensive linemen, who basically will pick you up and eat you whole, it's a little bit easier to do that. But, if they can put a little bit of pressure on Joe Burrow, and I don't say that in a way that he's going to crumble under it, but if you can hit him and make him uncomfortable, we have seen that at least test the mettle of your quarterback. And then if Burrow responds to that and still puts up 35 or 40, then the Bengals are thrilled. LSU is thrilled as they hoist another national title. And at that point, Joe Burrow goes down as obviously, I think, the best player in college football this year. And Chase Young was right next to the fact that Young finished 4th in the Heisman. Really, to me, is why the Heisman does not hold the same amount of water that it should.
Yeah.
It's an offensive award instead of the best player.
Right. No, I agree with you. And, look, I think LSU has all the advantages going into this one. They're playing this game in New Orleans. It's a home game for them practically. That's where they won their last national championship. So when they beat Alabama, I just think that I like the 5.5 points. It scares me. And, of course, I would never encourage anybody to bet on anything. But 5.5 points for me, I'd stay away from that.
There is absolutely nothing sure of this game, and that's part of the beauty of college football. On the flip side, today also, and it's 2:50 now, so we're in the middle of the opening slate of the NFL schedule with the game I'm most stoked about being the primetime game in Seattle and San Fran because it holds. What it means for the Niners is a win means 1 seed and a loss means a 4 or a 5 seed, which is absolutely astronomical. The fall that occurs off of one game here and how it would change the road for San Francisco.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you look at San Francisco, I had them pegged as the best team in football a month and a half ago. I even felt like they were the best team in football even after the loss to the Ravens. I felt like that game happened in Baltimore. It was some horrible weather conditions. They came across the country. I felt better about San Francisco losing that game.
And truth be told, you're a bleeding Ravens fan.
I mean, I'm born and raised in Baltimore. We used to be a Ravens season ticket holder. Was a Baltimore Colts season ticket holder. So, yeah. But look, all things considered, since their 8 or 9-0 start, the Niners are 3 or 4-3. You know, I mean, you've seen some things put on tape that some teams have done to kind of slow Jimmy Garoppolo down a little bit. And, you know, that defense is phenomenal. If they're healthy, I like them and the Ravens to meet up in the Super Bowl. I don't know.
If he can play, and not so much with the same points, but if he can have the same kind of poise he did against New Orleans. Right. That was the game for me that made me really see Garoppolo. Russell Wilson is probably he is the best quarterback with the least in the NFL.
I know there's no doubt. I don't think there's any arguing that.
His ability to make so much out of nothing is why this team is consistently at least in the conversation. Now, when you're having to grab Turbin and guys like Marshawn Lynch because you've decimated your running back core, that's not going to help you. But I think at this point, Russell Wilson is a guy who, kind of similar to what we see in the Oregon, right? You know, go Hawks, go Tigers. He's kind of the rah-rah guy, but he plays so well and he plays so elusive, and it is part of the fun. So we were ready to get back to football action. It is Georgia with the football. They are the offensive unit, and they are driving all the way down at we're trying to make sure we get the chains.
I believe it's 1st and 10. I think that happened on the punt.
I think it was a punt. And then we stepped up and stepped off the penalty. Again, unsure what the penalty was.
Florida blitzing.
A little shovel pass forward, completed, and a hit out at the 15-yard line. That shovel pass completed. I believe that's to Eric Harris III. I was down there talking in the stoppage to a couple of different guys, talking to Daniel Equasi. He's the DB from Veterans High School, where a good friend of mine, his son just graduated from Veterans High School. They played together. And Harris said, hey, I changed jerseys. I'm no longer number 24. So I did get it. Number 3 is not Malik Grant now. That was Eric Harris III, the wide receiver, with that reception. So second down, that was good for a gain of 4. Second and 6 now for Georgia. Under center is number 32, Javion Doris, once again the quarterback for the red and white. They lead 14-7. Handoff, late decision to go ahead and keep it with the running back, and he is swallowed up and dropped for a loss. Running back was Nathan Cox, number 21, and that 4 yards that they gain on the first down go for naught. 3rd down and 10, back to the original line of scrimmage, the 14-yard. Actually, they're going to mark him for an even bigger loss, make it 3rd and 11 to the 13-yard line. 8 minutes and 15 seconds. The clock continues to tick. Again, Florida down by a touchdown. This is not by any means over yet, but they need to get some type of offensive structure going here. We've not seen much really since the only touchdown they've had. 2 defensive turnovers led to points for Georgia. Doris steps back, 5 yards drop, now looking down the field. Hard throw, and I think made that completion.
Should be catch.
Right across the 24-yard line, and it is a catch. And that hauled in by number 6, Nasir Warner, the 5'7" wide receiver.
That's a good concentration by Warner to get that. There are no challenge flags, so the referee says it's a catch. That is not a catch, as you see on the replay. The ball hits the ground.
I would have loved to see him really let it go to number 17. You can see as the defense really was kind of sliding back. I think with a good shot to 17, with the defense still moving, harder time being able to get into that one. And now not sure what we have going on. There seems to be some conversations. We're getting the timeout being called.
I thought maybe he did throw a challenge flag.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's no way this is actually going to happen, is there? So I guess there is I think there is a timeout on the field. Okay.
No, one official said it was a first down. We have a controversial timeout.
Yeah, they want to get an explanation from the referee and ask him to maybe check with another official to see if that ball.
So we're waiting to, looking to get, and I think that may be what you have. It looks like the umpire in the middle is saying he had maybe had a bit of a view of it as well. I'm not sure. So at the end of it, whatever the conversation was, assuming there was one about that play, goes for naught. First down and 10 for Georgia.
First down and 10.
And football at the 23-yard line. 7.5 minutes, and the clock will continue to tick. Doris once again under center. The clap of the hands. 3-step drop. Pressure coming. Eludes one. Trying to get away from it again. Lets it go. Pass completed to number 6. Nasir Warner once again inbounds.
Good play there to keep that play alive and to keep that ball.
Yeah, pressure been. And that has been the big thing for Florida. That was number 12, Roby Tulum, the 6'2 defensive lineman, 215. Great chase. A tough thing with Doris, man. Dorian, he can. If you give Doris just a little bit of a window, he will turn the corner. He has the speed to do it. So the key with him is if you are going to flush him, have somebody there to go ahead and clean up the backside of it once you get him out of the pocket. He'll clap the hands again. This will be a direct handoff. No, he'll keep it. Fake the handoff. Another big hole. Has the first down across the 35 and dropped at the 36-yard line. And that has been the key for Georgia this time. So many times we have seen he sells that fake so well, but it's the explosive play. See that as soon as he goes 2 steps and he's in full stride, open field, eyes looking downfield to the blocker. He's working around number 19. A great job blocking by Bryson Mullins, and a first down for Georgia.
Under 6:30 to play here, Graham, and first downs add up the time off the clock.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see the water break as they had with the injury. That probably will count as the stoppage that they will need. So we should be able to go all the way through till the end of this football game. This is a key for Georgia to have it. Blitz coming, big hole. Cuts back, open field, makes 2 miss, has a blocker across the 40, inside the 35, and brought down at the 32-yard line.
Well,
biggest run of the day for Georgia. Number 8, Jaquez Williams, the 5'8 running back, and a first down into Florida territory.
Well, I'm here to tell you right now, Jaquez Williams made the end of that play, but the entire beginning of that play, credit to that Georgia offensive line. They blew Florida out.
And and part of what you had was that interior tackle, that nose tackle for Florida came out and tried to go around the left side of that formation, which allowed the center and the guards to basically come up and wedge it open, and straight through it went Williams. Another big run, good for 6 or 7 yards, this time by Savion McCray, and Georgia continues to chew time up off of the clock. The tough thing right now is you really want to make sure you want those points. I think points are more important right now than trying to get this clock down. But we near the 5-minute mark. And this time, once again, McCray in the backfield. Once again, the clap of the hands. The handoff, another good run, this time off the right tackle side. That should be good enough for a 4-yard gain. It is, and a little bit of a push after, and this time a flag does come out. And that was number 65, Dason Renew, with a push. I didn't see anything else.
And he's going to be thrown out.
And see if we have anything after the just a little bit of a push. I'm not sure what else was there.
I don't know. I think he may have he need him. Yeah, he's even the field. That's number 14.
Okay, so that was that's number
Kermani Hunter.
And that's a pretty big loss for Florida.
Touchdown here, I got to think will ice this game, Graham.
I believe so, too. That's why I was saying I think at this point points are more important than trying to run the clock off at this point. You put up 7 more, even 6 more, you make 2 scores, and we have not seen the consistency from the offense. Trying to turn the corner, multiple flags, and are we going to get into the chippiness now? You hope not, and this is when the officiating is the hardest part. You really have to work in between the play, try and keep this calm and relaxed. Jaquez Williams again with the run. And it's a holding call on Georgia.
It's a lot of laundry, so it must have happened. I see it there on the screen.
Yeah, coming in from the –
I think it was number 51.
Yes, that came in from the line judge and also one of the back judges. Now, one of the keys here, assuming that you are still following all the National Federation of High School rules, inside of 2 minutes, and you get a penalty as we are nearing, again, only 4:22 left in this ball game. Inside of 2 minutes, the offended team can choose whether the clock starts or stops with the penalty. So depending on who it is, it's going to allow the clock to maybe milk it just a little bit more. That's a backwards pass once again. Again, fallen on by Eric Harris, saving what could have been a scoop and score for Florida. Second down. Second and goal. Oh my goodness. Second down and goal because of off the penalty, the hold now. Second and goal from the 25-yard line.
I'm okay with this if I'm coach. You know what? I still want to see some points.
Yeah, the clock is stopped at the moment, and that was, I guess they were calling that an incomplete pass. I'm confused. The clock should be, I would think, would be running if it was a backwards pass, unless they're saying it was incomplete. Timeout called by Georgia. We will also step aside. You're watching SUV TV, the Georgia-Florida High School Football Showcase. Welcome back. 4:01 left in the fourth quarter. Georgia 14, Florida 7. Georgia driving, second and goal. Yeah, I get where they're at, but it is second down and goal to go. You know, they are at the 25-yard line. Doris once again under center. He will take a 3-step drop, steps in the pocket, down the field, and knocked away. Good defense by number 4, Erkson Tolliver. No flag on the play.
I thought the intended receiver was going to be number 26, Matthew Niles, but no, there was a receiver even beyond that on your screen, and you'll see him pop in there.
And a little push in the back, too. And Tolliver still able to get up and make that play. Great job. That almost adds the insult to injury. You push me in the back, and I still knock it away from you. You got nothing at this point.
Look, be careful here because that could have easily been a pick six.
Right, absolutely. And yeah, he almost pushed him into the football. 5-step drop, looking down the field. Fakes it, now picks it. He'll run it forward. 10-yard line and out of bounds. Looking to team up for a big hit was number 34, George Hawkins. He let it go. Smart play.
Big stand.
Yep. And that'll be, is that fourth down?
Well, that should be first. This fourth. Okay, this is fourth.
This is fourth down and goal. But again, at the end of this, even standing or not, I mean, you're forcing Florida to go a whole lot of field. This is a must-score situation.
Can't you kick a field goal?
You could. I don't think they have the
kicker.
I mean, heck, at this point, you kick the field goal. There would be no rush on it. And timeout called by Georgia. And Alan, we say it kind of laughingly, but that might be the conversation that they're about to have.
Right. You know, I mean, look, who can kick? Just like the Sandlot days, right? Who can kick?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
I can punt.
And I feel like that might be what the conversation is.
Get the old Doug Flutie drop kick going out there.
And you see a couple of guys coming in. I see number 40, Zane Roberts, a 6'2 linebacker coming in. Now the question would be, do they bring in the kicking block, which again it's allowed, and there's not going to be a rush. So it's a matter of you just just can you go ahead and line it up and go?
And just put toe to leather.
That's really all. It's really all you need. At that point, makes it 17-7. It's still a 2-score game. The key here is just to get it to be 2 scores, whether it's 20-7 or 17-7, doesn't matter.
Right. And they're going to go for it here.
So Javian Doris once again.
He's got a lot of room here. Keep your eye on the strong side.
Roberts, the 6'2 linebacker, is going to work as a tight end blocker. You see him up at the 11 o'clock spot. They're going to run left, and they're going to power that ball. Nope, comes to the right, stays on his feet, and gets swarmed down. He tripped over Roberts.
I don't know that I like the play call there. I think you want to give yourself options on 4th and goal like that.
And if you're a linebacker, it seemed like a last-second grab to bring Roberts in. Then you try and pull him from the left to the right side. That's why I didn't think they would pull him. I think it would just be a straight. You just push him up there, try and get a gap opened up, seal the block, and go ahead and get through it. Instead, they give Florida that defensive stop. You hope that mojo carries over to the offense finally, and maybe that's them a 3-minute and 40-second or less drive to 6.
The key to that drive was George Hawkins III, and I say that because on that drive towards the tail end of that, he spied on the quarterback.
Moreland downfield. That ball's caught, hauled in over the defender. Number 19, Kayshawn Curry, hauls it in. A 40-yard pitch and catch.
And there it is, Graham. They've been trying it all day. Those two have been trying it all day and finally make the connection on a big one.
And all the way up to the 48-yard. No, they'll mark him at midfield.
That's just throw it up and let my guy who's 3 inches taller go get it.
And he managed to get right through the arms of the defender. What a pitch and catch. Huge shot for Moreland. Flushed out of the pocket, breaks 2 tackles, still on his feet, across the 30, down the sideline, and tripped up across the 20 and down at the 15-yard line. Number 22, Elijah Deckel with the tackle.
Marion Moreland doing what he does best. Of course, we talked about it. Over 2,000 all-purpose yards this year. We saw the arm flashed on the play before that. Here we see the legs flashed.
And that's the thing, you mentioned this, Alan. You said it at the beginning. The problem with bringing pressure is you open up gaps and you take additional protection out of your secondary. Moreland is quick. He found a gap, took off. And when you miss 2 tackles, now all of a sudden, with 3:13 left, Florida is in prime position with plenty of time.
Gardner's in now.
And a false start, like a snap infraction called by the umpire. So 1st and 15.
Did something happen to Marion Moreland that you would require?
You bring Gardner. I
Quade
don't know.
Gardner in?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. And we haven't seen, and obviously, with multiple quarterbacks here, we also have not. I'm not really sure either. We haven't seen. They have Gardner, you have Moreland, and then we haven't seen Andy Caverly in recently either. Gardner in now. He's been picked off twice. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this one. He's going to keep it, go heads up, off the left tackle, still on his feet. He was fighting for yardage.
Yeah, number 54 for Team Georgia there. Bryce Bryant stood him up and dropped him for a 1-yard loss.
So 2nd down and 12. So actually going to mark him with a little bit of a gain. And again, this is Florida's first time into the SUV TV red zone in the second half.
Yep.
So it tells you just how kind of sputtering this offense has been. Now finally trying to find their way. And this is a moment where you have to make every possibility count. Moreland back in. False start called on. You could see it immediately. Yeah. I'm saying, and that's, you got to call, that's number 24, Ernest Blackshear.
Second time he's done it and done it that way. That'll stop the clock, Graham, with 1:33 to play. But 2 things here. I need more of a sense of urgency. If I'm coach, I'm telling them they're going to take a timeout to talk about it.
I think you have to, because again, the rules, I understand it. If that's integrated into this game, Georgia should be allowed to have that clock run. They'll call a timeout. We'll step aside one last time. here on SUV TV in the Georgia-Florida All-Star Game. And welcome back. Our final timeout has been taken, at least for us. The teams have a few left. Florida in a must-score situation here, down by 7. 94 seconds remain in this ballgame. Moreland, a quick pass out to the right side, flares it across the original line of scrimmage.
Kept him in bounds, too.
And that's the big key, is Damon stays in bounds. That's when you have to know that fighting for an extra yard or two is not worth the seconds you're going to lose off of that clock. 3rd down and 11, so only a gain of 1, all that work. 1 minute remains in this football game. Moreland airs it out, one-on-one coverage.
That's intercepted.
That ball's picked off, and that's your ball game. That ball comes loose. Oh, my God, it comes loose. That'll be a new set of downs because possession changed.
If they have it, we'll see. He fumbled.
Got to get the players out. Do not get ejections.
Florida's got it.
If Florida possesses the ball, that is 1st and 10 because possession changed hands. And that
Florida
is a great
ball.
call by the referee. Signals a 1st down. That is exactly it.
Wow, what a turn of events.
Overruns the route or underthrows it.
Here's the thing. You also have to know.
And there's the fumble. You see it clearly out.
You needed to take
and
a
this
knee.
Jumps on it.
Brian Colbert, you have to take a knee in a situation like you just go right down when you catch that ball. Go right down.
52 seconds remains and a new set of downs for Florida. Moreland, second chances. Blackshear trying to get it hit in the backfield. Big loss. Number 37, Jerome Glover III with the tackle.
39 seconds to play, Graham.
Yeah, clock continues to tick. I think Florida's got to be out of timeouts. The problem now is they begin to scramble, so will the offense.
There's 12 guys on the field. That should be a penalty.
And coming off Blackshear. Wait, did we get a timeout call? What's going on here? We have a stoppage being called.
Timeout by Florida.
Timeout, and I think it's because Florida also had a guy running off and had to prevent the same thing. So it was one of those even washes. 12 guys, 1 running off. And that may be Florida's.
The problem is 17 seconds elapsed.
Before you kill that time. Exactly. And that'd be my only gripe is if you're calling for it immediately, then you would say put time on the clock. But there does not seem to be any gripe or confusion or frustration about when it was called. So now 22 seconds, no timeouts remain in this football game.
I want to go back to the interception because that's a technique thing.
Right.
It really is. When
you did your job.
Yeah, Brian Colbert, when he has got to take a knee on a play like that, because right now the teams are shaking hands.
Right. This game should be over. You take a couple of knees, the time runs out, that's it. And the fact that you do that, and again, the officiating crew, great job to indicate a 1st down because possession officially changed. That makes it a 1st down. What in the world? Timeout called by Georgia.
They want to take a look and see what formation Florida would throw at them. I believe that is the final timeout.
We were hearing up here that was already it, so I don't know if.
Well, maybe they earned an extra one.
All right, so let's go ahead and as we look back at this, so 14-7 is your score. All right, 22 seconds remains. Again, I thought it was over, and that's what happens when you speak too soon. The last thing that I was expecting was going to be a fumble on the interception, but again, 3 turnovers so far the turnover battle, it's a -3 for Florida. They've turned the ball over 3 times, been picked, and then, of course, or I should say -2. Now you have the one where Florida able to strip that off of the returner. This is that moment now where, with no timeouts, if you're going to run the ball, you better be going east and west first to make sure you have out of bounds possible. Moreland in the backfield. On his hip is Lee J. Johnson. 3-step drop. He steps up in the middle. He's hit. That's the ball game. They are not going to be able to get it going. 17 seconds, maybe. Can you get one more?
He's got to spike the ball. What down? It's 4th. Yeah, he can get one more off. It's 4th down, so he's got to run a play.
5 seconds. 4 seconds. Here we go. This will officially be the ball game.
That'll do it.
It's picked off. Take a knee. Get down. Get down. It's over. Georgia wins 14-7.
Daniel Equis with the final pick of the day that will end it. And man, Graham, we ended the game 3 times.
Yeah, that was definitely my mistake. But how awesome, again, the young man from Veterans High School in Warner Robins, Georgia, coming up with that interception in the end zone. Florida had all the opportunities handed to them, could not capitalize. And at the end of this, the Georgia-Florida All-Star Game Showcase, Georgia walks away with the bragging rights and the win, 14-7.
Unbelievable game. Good football game, good defensive game, the type of game I like. I like defense. This was a game that was owned for me by the guys up front. So I'd like to thank the SUTV for having me here today. Graham, thanks a lot, buddy.
SUV TV has been great. Marcus Burnett, Lisa as well for producing for us and just helping us out tremendously. An amazing setup here. Of course, our thoughts lifted up with the young man who was injured earlier in the game, and our hope that he will have a fast recovery. Folks, thank you all so much for joining us here on the SUVTV.com. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure did. We hope to see you again on SUV TV. If you're here, safe travels back home. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. For Alan Starzinski, I'm Graham McGowan. Good night, everybody.